Uh, mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm. Right. You know what I could do? I could do this. Yeah. There isn't right now. So yeah. But you said we're live with desktop audio going, right? You have Discord Zoom on. That's me. No. I'm looking at your OBS. I see when I'm talking, the thing goes on live. I'm live right now. If you turn Zoom mic on, turn turn Discord's dude, I'm looking at it.
Indie left, indie left, news and politics and all the rest. So much to do on the YouTube, so they curate a list for you. Do you wanna watch your favorite creator or have a chat on Discord later? Well, you better get hip to indie left, indie left.
Hi, the Left Dot News. Sorry, Ron, I cut you off there at the end. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy Sunday night. I don't want to say the big word, but the some kind of bowel something just got completed, and God, that feels a whole lot better now that it's finished, right? Woo! Okay, that was terrible. Yeah, hot mic. Thank you, Valerie, for telling us that we had a hot mic. That was kind of silly.
I knew.
Thanks.
I knew Valerie. I knew.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
was looking at it.
Okay.
It was live.
Well, thank you. Welcome to everybody in chat. I don't understand how Restream's saying we got 100 messages already because there's no way that happened. But okay, cool. Maybe that was last time. Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Valerie. Hi, Eric T. Red. Welcome to you. Hey, to you, Reef, and anybody else watching.
Hi.
Hi. Holy moly! What a week. There was a lot. Well,
Yeah.
we're starting a half hour late again, and that was because of the actual game that we thought was last week, but actually turns out to be this week. And we'll be back at 10 o'clock next week. But I'm either going to have a different co-host, replace a substitute co-host. I was trying to find the word, not a replacement, because we can't replace Reef, but a substitute co-host to just do stories. Or we're going to skip next week because Reef is going to be working, I believe, on an event with Stabby Sabs. We'll see exactly how that goes, but Reef's going to be pitching in behind the scenes, and so he's going to be unavailable to help us out. Sorry?
Oh, just beep booping some buttons for Sabby.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, so that's what's happening this week. Next week, so we're getting started a little later. I kind of want to get going because I got a ton of stuff to cover. But so welcome everybody to How Do We Miss That, which is a show airing on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and Odyssey, Sunday nights, 10 o'clock, normally Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We're reviewing a few big stories that we hadn't seen cover much in the leftist independent media space. Co-hosted by me, Indy. I'm the founder and editor of Independent Left News, leftist.today Substack. And this guy over here on my side, Reef Breland. And he's the creator of the Door Discord and the host of Reefer After Dark, which now you can actually search YouTube for Reefer After Dark, and you'll actually find his channel, which is really cool.
You'll be able to find it. Nice.
All the stories were featured in our Substack, leftist.today, and at the top of independentleft.news, which is our once daily updated newsletter every day at noon. Of course, want to shout out all of our wonderful patrons and Ko-fi supporters, and one of them is right there in our chat. Eric T. Red, thank you so much for all your support. You're awesome. Love seeing you on Sabby's stream lately, and you're killing it over there. And I know recently she put in a list of demands for that you would want to give for like strikes, and I thought that was really cool. Also, thank you to the two Richards, Richard M. and the other Richard, who I don't want to say who, but Nikki, Radical Leftist Agenda, Les Bones, Noli D, Robin, glad to see you're back and starting to feel a little better. Noli, so sorry, she had something, she had to get on a plane and fly to Florida this week, and love you, support you, anything we can do there to help, let us know. Then, of course, thank you and shout out to the volunteers, Nicole and Darlene, and Big Mad Crab Greg, who had a nice little hat tip and did a video on his own. By the way, subscribe to the Mad Crab channel on YouTube. He's put up a couple of videos.
Do you crab dance?
Yeah, Reef is doing a crab dance, I did notice. But definitely subscribe to the Mad Crab channel. He put up a video about Sam Cedar doing I Don't Care, the I Don't Care compilation, which is great, and he did that editing. And then he recently just did one the other day about Joe Rogan and his Joe Rogan Right Wing that I actually included in today's Independent Left News in the Independent Left News and Leftist.today newsletter, which really, really good. Thank you to Alex Davidson for liking every Substack post. Go follow the podcast version. You can find that on Spotify, or if you don't want to follow it on Spotify, you can go to anchor.fm/independent left news, and you can subscribe to on any other platform. We're on Google Google Podcasts, we're on Overcast, we're on a bunch of different ones. The only one we're not on is Apple, and there was a thing early on when we had submitted that it got rejected silly enough, and it wasn't even really for this show at the time. But also did a new Friends of Indie Left with Affini last week and wanted everybody to have the link to go check that out if you haven't already. It was a great interview. It was originally supposed to be about 40 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. We ended up going, I think, an hour and 15 minutes. And I just adore that woman. She's absolutely fantastic. I could talk to her for days. After we hung up, we still ended up talking for about another 15 minutes. And she's just wonderful. And I thank her so much for that. And then also we did again the How Do We Miss That Clips channel on on Rumble. Don't miss that. And of course, there's a playlist on the YouTube channel for How Do We Miss That, and that has the full episodes as well as the clips. So you can also find that on our YouTube channel.
Nice.
Were you on any shows last week, Reef? I don't even remember if I was. I don't think I was.
I did. You don't even remember. I did a whole show yesterday, or not yesterday, day before yesterday with Ricky Rants and Yeti and who am I missing? Jesse Jet.
Oh my God, that was so funny. I caught the second half of that. That was really funny.
Great. Mm-hmm. Yep, go check that out on my channel. I'll put the link in chat here in a second. To the episode.
It's just been again. It's been a crazy week. Lot of news happening, and again, what we want to really cover are some of the stories that we have not seen anybody really talking about. So, gonna jump into sharing the main screen so you can see my screen, and we'll look at what the Substack looks like right now. Why is that cut off? Oh, because the browser's cut off. Aha! Scroll up. Mm-hmm. So this is leftist.today by Independent Left News, independentleftnews.substack.com. You can go to leftist.today. It'll get you there. Okay, this is the Substack that went out just a little while ago at 10:30 for tonight's episode. If you click there, you can actually watch it live in the Substack. Also, the other links to find it on other platforms if you prefer there. Summary of some of the stories that we're going to be covering. Some of the ways that you can find and support Indie Left, as well as I want to give a shout out. Gosh, we really don't talk about indienews.network nearly enough, but Indie News Network has been everywhere. Our members have been everywhere. And even when they're on, look, Angel Rivera and Chris Legion and congrats and to Yeti, the Yeti Jesus who was on Reef's show earlier on the other night, and he did his first episode of the Breadlines this week, and happy for him and excited to see that get going. And so again, all the different places you can find us, including the link to the How Do We Miss That Clips channel. This was the Substack that we published earlier today. This actually had one of the clips from last week in there where we talked about a couple stories from Pandemic Profiteering from Jake Johnson. And then Richard Medhurst, and we've got, this is the Big Mad Crab. So if you go right to leftist.today, you'll be able to find that Mad Crabs video on Joe Rogan, which is a great cut. Right. Got Jimmy and Real Progressives. And Eric Kessner is actually doing a coast-to-coast Medicare for All journey. I wanted to shout that out. Eric is with the Yellow Vests. This was just a 51-second video, real short.
My name is Eric Kessner. Please follow my journey across country. We're going to be driving from Seattle to Washington, D.C., and we have to jumpstart this movement into reality, and I think that we can do it. I think this is
great stuff. So we support Eric 100%. Go check that out. Danny Haifong did a stream. JB Font was watching the second thought, and we've got some articles there as well. Normally we add some tweets, but it was kind of a pain in the butt to do that today, so just have the links in there for some of the stories that you want to look at. Or you can go find those stories with thumbnails and summaries at independentleft.news. And there's a link to that here on the leftist.today, so you can get there from there. Fiorella, by the way, shout out to Fiorella for this article that she wrote. And I did not include this in tonight, and we'll probably put this in next week because I just missed this. But she's talking about T-Mobile employees who are speaking out against vaccine mandates, okay, who are and they're going to be planning to fire hundreds of unvaccinated workers. So she spoke to some of the people and got their firsthand sentiment. So shout out to Fiorella for that. Okay, we've got Lauren Elizabeth, and again, this is just today. This is updated once a day. Actually, if you went to independentleft.news, you'd be able to find and watch the Friends of Indie Left with Afeni. You can see it's embedded, and you can click right there to watch it on YouTube and be able to leave a comment and like it, give it a thumbs up. We appreciate if you do that for sure. By the way, give the stream a thumbs up if you haven't already yet. All right. So again, Daily Poster, Popular Resistance. This was shared by Margaret Kimberly talking about the crisis in Ukraine. I don't know what's going on. The tweets aren't popping up. Common Dreams, Kosashu News, Caitlin Johnstone, all the publications and all the people that you know and love and read all in one central place. That was the whole reason why I created this thing in the first place. You can check out who's in our Discord right now. Here's the last episode of How Did We Miss That? We've got that embedded. I update that every week. And it keeps going and going and going. You see, there's 38 more stories. It just keeps going and going and going. It's incredible. And there's yesterday's Substack that I published, and it picked up in the bot. The Corbett Report. Highly recommend checking out the Corbett Report. So that's getting picked up in the algorithm, and talking about Roger Stone and Johnny Vedmore saying it's important to maybe stop buying from the companies that partner with the World Economic Forum, so learn who they are. Really interesting stuff to, as you scroll down a little further. Also, Steven Donziger, free Steve Donziger. He went back. He was put back in a halfway house after being home, and then being free, having the ankle bracelet taken off. What a shame. Also wanted to show you guys what the Clips channel on the on Rumble looks like. This is a really cool. Again, there is a lot of right-wing content on Rumble, but hey, how are we going to balance it out? So I put daily updates on Rumble, and it gets a few views every day. And I'm happy that it gets a few views every day. You can see these just published today, and every single one of them has at least one view already. And I shared a couple of them out to Twitter. Please do us a favor and share that out to Donziger's current status right now is that he's in a halfway house, and they're trying to get him home. And they're trying to get him out on, it's not even house arrest, but with the ankle bracelet, but they yanked him back to prison, I believe, or to this halfway house. We've got to watch the update on what happened there. I know Katie Halper was live earlier, and she did something about that about 9 o'clock. Nice. Was that you putting that up there?
Yep. Yeah, I figured for boats, I'd make sure I have Twidget running too.
That's a good idea. Maybe you should take control of that, because I don't even see it.
Wish I could.
Hey. There we go.
I was looking for Eric's statement.
Oh.
There you go.
Nice. So, yeah, what's Donziger's current status is that we are not 100% sure, but we know that he has been pulled back from having whatever freedom he had or wherever he was to be put into a halfway house. And I don't know what that means exactly. So yes, trans Marxist. It absolutely can't love Caitlin Johnstone. So these are some of the clips.
I'd love to have her on the show.
Sorry. What'd you say?
I'd love to have her on the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't even remember the last time I heard anybody do an interview with her. She's actually said that she just doesn't do them, and she's kind of a recluse. And I appreciate her work, and I just appreciate reading it and listening to it whenever she does. I remember the last time I was on with Misty, she played a spoken word that she had actually written a poem and posted on YouTube, and it was like 5.5 minutes long and just amazing.
We should get her husband to do the interview.
Right? Get her to write it and then just have him narrate it. That would be freaking sick. That would be absolute fire. All right, so I'm going to change to go to the first story here. God, you're going to hate me. I'm so sorry, but we have to cover this because I haven't seen it covered enough anywhere.
Yep.
Amir Locke.
Well, this is like all the gun nuts should be covering, right? Like
this guy. it's shameful. I mean, this happened on February 2nd. SWAT officer from the Minneapolis Police Department killed Amir Locke after busting into a downtown Minneapolis apartment at 7 a.m. And I believe they said within 30 seconds or so. I'm sorry, within 9 seconds. Hanneman had executed Amir Locke, shooting him three times.
Right.
Locke, who was sleeping on the couch when the cops burst in, wasn't even who they were looking for. He wasn't named on the warrant and wasn't a suspect in the case.
Yep.
And this has, of course, naturally set off a firestorm. So he had been armed, as if that somehow justifies them shooting him, because he...
Right.
Right. He could not have reacted. Okay. A narrative contradicted by the cops' own body cam video, and I'm gonna show you what we've seen and what's been released. It's fucking horrible. Shows him lying on the couch, under the covers on the couch, being awakened by the cops storming in, and then being killed, all within 9 seconds.
Awful.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of no-knock warrants in white neighborhoods is an excellent point made by one of our amazing chatters. But the latest moratorium announcement from Jacob Fry came only after police in neighboring St. Paul revealed after Locke was killed that it had asked for a standard search warrant, but that MPD had insisted on a no-knock operation, revealing that they were likely violating their own policies. Of course. Reminiscent of Breonna Taylor. Kentucky has only enacted a partial ban since. I mean, this is actually a really good piece by Left Voice, and I want to shout out to Adnan Ahmed, who has also been killing it lately. And I hate to use that word in this case, but his stories have just absolutely been on point, and I have to give a shout out to him. But his coverage of this is really spot on. Locke was murdered. His federal trial is wrapping up for George Floyd co-conspirators, or whatever you want to call them, charged with violating its constitutional rights. Again, this is a really hard story, and again, Kim Potter killing Dante Wright, and guilty verdicts have come back, yes, and the race of the cop and the victim were not lost on Minnesotans, who began to demand greater police accountability, of course, in 2019, right?
Yes, they did.
So again, this is the movement against killer cops has grown. As it has grown, there's been a concerted effort by the ruling class to co-opt it, and when that's unsuccessful, to repress the movement violently. Repression of the George Floyd uprising and the subsequent co-optation efforts by Democratic Party-friendly nonprofits, all aimed at watering down police abolition movements, is evidence of this. Locke's murderer must be charged and convicted, but we cannot depend on the racist quote-unquote justice system to put an end to the irreformable racist institution of policing and the capitalist system it protects. For that, we must continue.
Yeah, the whole system.
So I have to give a huge shout out here to Unicorn Riot. Okay, and if you go to unicornriot.ninja, and it's a category /police, and I'm going to drop this in the Restream chat myself, and that's going to be across all the platforms.
Your audio to me.
Sorry?
You need to pump your audio to me, FYI. Desktop audio too. You can turn on.
How about that?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Okay. So, category police, Unicorn Riot. This is all of the articles that we're going to read, you can actually find listed right here. Wow, that was a bunch of Discord alerts.
That was a Discord pings.
Yes, it was. How did that happen? How did I miss that?
I
I
don't
guess
know.
I'm not in streamer mode. How did I
Yep.
miss that? How did we miss that? Good name for a show. Not in streamer mode.
Might have been mine, but I don't think
No, it
my
was me.
audio's.
It was me. So,
Yeah.
category police unicorn riot. Sorry for everybody. First is February 3rd, the morning after it happens. They're all over the case. And these guys, I'm going to show you
Right.
a series of a half dozen articles that were written by Nico and the team over at Unicorn Riot. They have been on the ground. There have been protests. There has been some call for justice for Amir Locke, naturally and justifiably so.
Of course.
So they're looking at where it happened, and they describe exactly what happened. Okay, and here's the information that came out that Amir was a licensed gun owner, had a concealed carry permit.
Yep.
That the Minneapolis police were searching for 3 suspects to execute the search warrant, and he was not a named suspect on the warrant. They weren't even looking for him when they busted in. He didn't live there. He was sleeping on the couch at a family member's apartment when they busted in, and his family believes he was startled when they busted in and was trying to protect himself. So, and they need to release the body cam footage. So that was what happened initially. And again, these guys always bring the goods. Look at all the links that they have to the actual documents or to, and you can see these are to uploads. 2 gunshot wounds to the chest and 1 to the wrist. And if you click there, this is the actual report. I mean, these guys, they do the work. So this poor, and again,
I mean, they've been doing great work in Minneapolis for a minute now.
and not just in Minneapolis, but they've been moving all around. Okay, again, here's another one in Austin. Someone, Christopher Fiafonu. Boy, sorry if I butchered his name. I apologize for that. But he was also killed by an Austin cop. That was on December 23rd. So this is marking the 3rd time. What it was saying is 3 victims in 66 days by Minnesota police.
Ridiculous.
So that's the first article. Then you have the body cam footage released. So you have police officer Mark Hanneman yelling, and it shows them entering unannounced with a key, then yelling police search warrant while walking down a hallway, kicking a couch that Locke was sleeping on. Within 2 seconds, he rolled over, grabbed a gun, although never putting his finger on the trigger, and was killed by 3 bullets.
Yep. I mean, it's similar to the Breonna Taylor case, right? Where it's, there's, I mean, yeah, I mean, dude, I've lived in the South forever. The first thing they're going to tell you is that I have my gun for when someone walks into my house unannounced. Like, like.
Yeah, it says
anyway.
The video as edited has 2 slowed down sequences and a seemingly 100% speed replay. However, the last replay cuts out more quickly than the first 2.
Right.
I don't know if I have permission to send this, but when the mayor was asked why this happened, he said, "I do not know." And then you've got your interim police chief that really did not instill very much confidence in very much of anything because they didn't know much of anything. And it's no bueno. And then here is the body cam footage of him sleeping on the couch.
Yep.
Yeah,
I already watched that. Unfortunately,
I don't want to show that, but and if anyone who wants to see it and need has the need to see it for any reason, it's here in Unicorn Riot, and then they want us to believe the person on the left was a dangerous threat. Personal right. I don't really necessarily subscribe to that. But anyway,
I mean,
that's a whole other story. But this is just disgraceful, and yes, everyone in leadership needs to be fired. So here we go. So turns out this guy gave illicit drugs to protest. So now Dan Fite and Nico are starting to look into, well, who is Mark Hanneman and what's his deal?
Who did it? Right.
Like, okay. So it turns out he's like
he's a crooked cop.
A dirty cop.
Like,
okay, so he was the only officer to fire. According to his file, he's gone through dozens of use of force training, SWAT trainings, and weapons training courses. Okay, so physiological effects, DRE theory, drug recognition expert. He took part in a statewide training program run by the Minnesota State Patrol. And then within the program, officers gave illicit drugs to people to evaluate their reaction. Wow.
Yep.
It was exposed and became a scandal, which led to state authorities to relocate the training to California. Okay, well, that's interesting.
And so they're saying that they just know when you're using, pretty much they
can tell.
Yeah.
So, but even still, that's not why you shoot somebody.
Yes. I mean, of course. I mean, the fact that they get a fucking ticket to like have, they get a little diploma that says that they just, can like fucking force read someone's brain and, like what?
So
anyway,
the officers would approach them and ask them if they wanted to get high without being arrested. If the person obliged, the officers would provide drugs and sometimes also a fast food meal. Well, honestly, that's so awful.
Yeah, that doesn't sound bad.
After getting them high and evaluating them, though, he would drive them back downtown and frequently drop them off at the Occupy Wall Street protest at PV Plaza.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
What? But, huh? Oh,
where's that?
That's a weird thing, though. So, like, he was getting people. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's a weird part of the story. So, then you have SWAT officers involved in Locke killing have a violent and checkered past. Okay, so now you again. Right. Why are you saying officers? Because Mark Hanneman was still the only one that was involved in the shooting, right? And then 2 officers were involved in beating Julio Okay, they're tying these things together. Amir Locke was a registered gun owner. Body cam footage showing the killing was released. Showed SWAT entering, right? Officers besides Hanneman who entered the apartment. I don't want to, again, here's their names there. You can see that in the incident report and on the website. There's a story about how he gave the illicit drugs to protesters. And then a little bit about the other guys that were in the SWAT team with him. And apparently, Unicorn Riot seems to think that this has significance to the case.
Jesus.
Okay, and then there's this guy who was filmed violently slamming an advocate for the houseless to the ground at George Floyd Square.
Yep.
Okay, on-site public media included their interview, which included, I remember that JoJo recounts the experience. Yep. I remember that.
Yep, me too.
That was like, during the whole forced to vote argument before the protest. But 10 complaints filed against him, with 1 complaint still open and all the others closed with no discipline. That's Officer Kyle Mater. Again, just looking into the background of some of these other people, and this is what happened. The 911 call, who took the call, all the actual reports themselves. Unicorn Riot does, again, an incredible job of getting the details. So here's where they're getting even further into the case, and it's the next day. It's okay. So now, how did they get to the no-knock warrant? And as it turns out, it came from Hennepin County Judge Peter Cahill, who also presided over over the Floyd trial. Wow, that's pretty weird. Which amounted to a death sentence for Amir Locke. Although, again, did the cops know that guy was going to be on the other side of the door, sleeping on the couch with a gun in his hand?
Right. I mean, they never know what's going to happen when it's a no-knock. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Well, that's just it, right.
You can't know.
Right, and after reviewing it, activists say it reveals a discern. Why did they feel they need to do this with the no-knock type of thing? Okay, for a guy, again, that's not even named in the warrant, and they're going to go over. So here's protests down, and here is the full Unicorn Riot stream for an hour and 43 minutes, and this was on February 5th, and you could see that it brought out the community big time. Rightfully so. I mean, this guy's sleeping on the couch. They busted in. He doesn't know who that is, what's going on. He reaches for his piece. Doesn't touch the trigger, and next thing you know, he's shot 3 times.
Yeah,
and that's that's literally like execution stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like they even knew who he was. What?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's execution style per se. We're being fucking semantic on this, which we don't need to. But I mean, it's just the fact of like, look, it's almost like when people do think that guns are there to protect your house, they train to do that. Like, you know, they train to have this instinct to, okay, guns on the bedside table, like, where did I leave? You know, that's a thought process in people's heads, right? So for Amir Locke, this is instinctual to a point, right? Where, you know, 3 crazy men get to just run into his, you know, the place he is like living in, essentially, and you know, he does what he would think is supposed to do. He's not even his prefrontal cortex hasn't even clued in that these are cops yet.
Oh no, you know that he knows it's cops because they banged on the you know, they had a key. Somehow they had a key.
If you're asleep and stuff, and they just they bang on the door, say it's the cops, and let them you might not even heard that shit. Until they came in.
I know I would,
you know, right, like, you know, and this is and as far as the cops are concerned, you know, they see someone reaching for a gun, and you know, like, it's like the whole fucking thing is it literally, to me, is the system is the problem here. It's the fact that we've allowed a no-knock warrant without proper surveillance, without, like, you know, and that's what murdered this kid. You know, like, as well as the person pulling the trigger, because for one, the fact that you're going into a house over, what was the original warrant about, right? It's about I don't remember what the warrant's about.
Right, what is the warrant about? Where they went after the three guys where he wasn't even one of them.
Right.
So were they in the house? Okay, here. They falsely claimed. Oh, here's the first thing, is that they besmirched this kid and referred to him as a suspect 4 times in their initial press release. Okay.
Right.
And they never, as far as I know, clarified that.
Right. I'm looking for killing their below. Yeah. I mean, it's.
Sorry.
I'm trying to look for.
Not an award. Okay. It requested a standard warrant into the homicide investigation. It was conducted, not a no-knock warrant. They requested MPD, and it was them who insisted on the no-knock warrant.
Right. Yeah, because they don't want to have to knock.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I mean, yeah,
because they think that there'll be shots coming through the door if they knock. That's what they're saying. Again, here's Adnan Ahmed. Okay. who actually had written that piece that was picked up, I believe, here in Left Voice. Look at that.
I mean, they're definitely not going to get reprimanded for this. Is the issue?
Oh,
You know, no
there
one
you go.
involved.
Recently compared
Like-
Locke's killing to the murder of Breonna Taylor, which sparked international outrage and cries to ban deadly practices. Yes,
Yeah.
nailing it. Okay, again, there's the Jacob Fry stuff where he, led the fight to ban no-knock warrants, even though MPD has sought 90 of them. This is an excellent thread here by Robin Garwood.
Well, it's not like a knock warrant is that much better either. Like they knock and then they throw a tear gas grenade through your window.
No.
Like, they blow the door off. Like they knocked. Like,
Again,
like there's not much. Oh, go ahead.
So then you've got your February 8th protest coverage
About it, right? Which is massive.
Okay, student-led
Like the
walk out of
protest itself.
schools, National Solidarity Rally, which happened, and this was Wednesday on the 8th, right? Almost sure this is the 8th. Yeah. Again, Nico Georgiadis, kudos to you, sir. Give you a lot of credit for the org that you built and the way that you cover stuff, and
Yeah, dude.
it's thank you.
I've been
Because,
watching for a minute. So.
again, without coverage like this, we wouldn't know about this, and that's why we share it, and we're happy to amplify excellent coverage. Again, here's the link to the body cam footage and the community safety work group,
Yeah.
and then that mayoral candidate who quit the job after just 2 meetings because of the private nature of this community safety work group, that they're not really interested in fixing the problems, but it's more a political entity. Okay, then
Right.
you've got more Move for Justice News, and you've got a vigil and family community press conferences. Again, amazing coverage to collate and give you a complete picture of what's going on here. Messages in remembrance and justice from Amir painted on I-94. Street art
Yeah.
all over the place. Look at this. And then where's the one from the 11th? When I went to the first one here. Is this, yeah, here. Hundreds marched to the building where police killed Amir Locke as well. And here's another rally, and
Yeah.
this was on the 11th. They were live for the rally on March 8th. Again, look at
Yeah, that's
the number of
a ton
people.
of people.
Families who've lost loved ones to police killings were in attendance. BLM Minnesota is not associated with the national BLM.
Yeah.
Their local chapter. It's heartbreaking stuff. Just murdered while sleeping. Yeah, sleeping while black is. Again, how the hell did this happen again, and keeps happening, and keeps happening.
Yep.
Again, I didn't really see too many people talking about this story, and I thought it was really important because, again, it happens too often, and I don't want it
Yep.
to be swept under the rug. You know, these people's lives, of course, are so matter, and it's this shit's got to stop. It's got to stop.
Yep.
We got to figure out how to make it stop.
Yep.
Yep.
I completely agree.
All right. That was tough. Okay. So thank you, Ed. Ivan Reitman, RIP to Ivan Reitman, apparently 75. He was only 75? It seems like
Yep.
he would be older than that at this point, but okay. Well, that's still too bad because he's definitely legendary. But so just to look at the chat and see who else is here. Welcome to whoever else is. Trans Marxist E Heller, welcome. How are you, Eric? What's up? So yeah, maybe some kind of BS training for cops to identify when people are high. Yeah, that whole DT whatever. And was there a drug bust where undercover cops got arrested buying drugs from dealers who were undercover cops? No, I don't remember that, but it's probably in Baltimore because that's like some of the dirtiest cops. Yeah, the first Ghostbusters was amazing. Hashtag justice for Amir Locke. Thank you. And Capel 65. Absolutely. No knock equals cops playing soldiers. Yep, I think we have that. And then we should demand that everybody absolutely should be fired and there should be accountable. Just awful stuff. Again,
Yep. I mean,
had to.
it's just stuff that you like. You look at that and you're like, yeah, how could you have fixed that? You know, like,
Well, first thing you stop them from getting in there with a no knock. You know, like I just and not doing it at like 6 o'clock in the morning either. But that's I'm sure they have their tactics and their reasons, and there's 1,800 things that I don't know because I'm just commenting from New Jersey, and I at least know that. So, all right. So next, workers are starting to wage battles at Amazon warehouses for unionization, and we saw Bessemer, we saw Staten Island 8. And I'm sure Tatiana and Molly are a formidable writing team. They wrote this last Sunday, and we did not, again, I curate the show all week, so by Saturday night, the show's pretty much set up, and I saw this, and I'm like, oh man, we need to put this in and talk about this, because three warehouses are fighting to unionize. Okay, 2 in Staten Island and 1 in Bessemer, which again we know about. So this is again Left Voice. Shout out to Left Voice for doing some great work this week and over the last couple of years since I've been paying attention to them. And thank you to Lee Camp for turning me on to Left Voice in the first place. I distinctly remember him sharing an article going, wow, I've never heard of these guys. And the more I see, you know, I agree with quite a bit of what they publish, and I really appreciate their coverage, and they've got a crack writing team. And again, I encourage everybody to subscribe to email alerts and to them on Twitter, on Instagram, to share their articles, follow them. And they're even on YouTube. I don't really see much of their videos in my feed. Maybe I'm not subscribed to them yet. Take a look at that. But Amazon, Bessemer, over 6,100 workers got a ballot yesterday for a mail-in election with a March 25th deadline. So last year, there was the effort failed, but there was a massive union-busting campaign by corporate themselves. And again, Left Voice did an amazing job. They had people on the ground for a month, I believe, in Bessemer before the vote happened.
right.
Documenting some of the tactics that were used by Amazon corporate, like forcing the workers to attend mandatory anti-union lectures. They pressured the city into changing the timing of the traffic light in order to disrupt organizing efforts. I remember that. The organizers were trying to catch the people at the traffic light after they left work and talk to them about the union. And so they got Amazon got the city to change the timing of the lights so that they couldn't stand out there and have that conversation. Strong arm
Right.
the postal service, right? They moved the mail, they installed the mailbox that was explicitly barred in the Amazon branded ballot collecting tent, which is illegal. And the NLRB determined that because of that, they ordered a new union vote, which is why we're seeing this. It's a year later. They literally delayed this for a year. They made it a whole lot bigger spectacle. Again, and that only got, I believe, 16 or 18% support. Again, we're hoping that it's gonna pass and it will get more support. Would it have even had that much support at all if they had drawn this much attention? I don't know.
Yeah. How does the mailbox fuck with stuff? I mean, I know it's been
So the deal is
like
that the bosses,
so
it's a company branded tent. Apparently, there was some kind of a
Right.
monitor on who went in there first of all, and then based upon that, I'm sure they could look at the ballots and try to back into figuring out who submitted ballots for unionization. So again, you've got JFK 8, which was again attempted to unionize but withdrew only to refile in December. And again, you've got Chris Smalls. He's one of the leaders who was fired from protesting Amazon's lack of safety measures. Shout out to Chris Smalls, friend of the show. Follow him on Instagram and follow him on Twitter at @ShutdownAmazon. Amazon is the country's second largest private employer after Walmart and is notorious for horrendous working conditions. And again, talking about some of the extremely hot warehouses without ventilation, talking about how it's so taxing on the body, the breaks, how you're literally measured down to the second. Multiple workers have died on the job at Amazon warehouses. Of course, we know about the 6 that died in the Kentucky warehouse, and 2 died at Bessemer. So we covered that. One suffered a stroke after being told by management that he couldn't leave, and hours later that worker died. I believe we even covered that. Then you had Prashan Brown, who was the person that died, and they don't even know if she died of COVID, but she was testing people with COVID for COVID. I mean, it's beyond crazy. So a couple of people that worked directly with him were badly shaken up, wanted to go home. We're not allowed to right here. So again, Striketober, they're referencing when we had Kellogg's and John Deere and a lot of these strikes that have since been settled. A lot of them, they didn't get what they had hoped for, and a lot of the things had not quite panned out the right way, but were touted in the mainstream press or even in the labor press as wins because they got minor concessions, or the company just said, look, we're not going to fire the employees. That was the concession that we're striking, which I didn't think was much of a concession. But certainly getting those people their jobs back would help. I mean, that's the reason why they were striking in the first place. But again, you've got dozens of Starbucks stores that are now filing to unionize, and we've been covering the Great Resignation and how I think it's 10% of the entire workforce in the last 2 years since the pandemic started has quit their job, if not more, or has changed jobs, or has lost a job. I think that might even be higher. But again, you've got the disconnect among the working class is also expressing itself in more direct ways through mobilization and action, which is excellent. Okay, again, we support direct worker action in all cases. Amazon warehouses in Chicago walked off the job, and they were demanding wage increases. And its success at Amazon may unleash a wave of unionization filings, which we're hoping to get. So again, as long as these unions are not co-opted, and that is one of the keys, is that you don't want union leadership to end up turning into its own corporate structure that then has to manage the relationship itself and gatekeep for the employees themselves. Okay, here you've got Daquan Smith, who was illegally fired for trying to unionize, which, again, they've been pretty well-known union busters. And shout out to Jordan Chariton. I know that he had sent me a link for a meeting that they filmed where they were not letting union leaders out of a meeting where they were talking anti-union type of stuff. I don't remember exactly how that story went. I can post a link to that. But here, as far as first bessemer, Amazon unionization drive showed to win a union is not enough to rely on Democratic Party politicians and celebrity endorsements. Right. Okay. RWDSU was criticized from their own pages and Jane McAlevey and saying that they had no structure, they had no grassroots movement. Because I asked Jane McAlevey, I asked her on Katie Halper's show specifically about that because I was a mod and
Right.
I got the chance to ask that because I'm also a patron of hers. But again, great article by Tatiana and Molly. Tatiana is definitely a member of the All-Star team, and Molly seems to be helping out with some of the background research. I don't know how much one's writing or the other, but there's actually another article. I don't know if it was yesterday or if we're going to cover it tonight, but there's another article that they just recently did as well that I thought was fantastic. So shout out to Tatiana, to Molly, to Left Voice. And that, again, like I said, check out Left Voice. If you're not subscribed to them already, they're one of the better publications that I prefer to check out. And again, none of them are perfect. All of them have takes that we're going to disagree with, but this is one of the better ones out there, and I support them 100%. So now, what's up, man?
I talked to guys normally in chat, Oz Whistles.
Yes.
Right, dude's over Ireland, UK.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He was talking about the you know their guild situations, right, which are like similar to, you know, unions in a way, but much more like hard-lined into the politics of like the area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, yeah, the Builders Guild has been around for like centuries, you know.
Oh yeah, the trade
it's
unions.
like they've weeded out a lot of like, right, it's now like ingrained, and it's to the point where like, yeah, they have stuff like apprenticeships and stuff like that are like royally declared, you know, like that kind of stuff. Like there's you know, like the Queen's farrier or whatever needs a replacement, so they teach a bunch of farriers. Like they have whole schools to teach them, you know. Like
apprenticeships and like the whole.
Right.
I mean, come on, that's where all that stuff kind of came from. That
comes
whole
from like, yeah.
So this is,
you know,
this is actually like part of a labor theme. So I'm gonna flip to the next one because this kind of goes along with it. And again, we heard a lot about trucker strikes, but what we did not hear a lot of was trainer strikes or train conductor and train workers and Burlington Northern Santa Fe workers. And I saw somebody, and it might even be our friend Ed in chat, who said that he saw a huge missed opportunity in the fact that you had a movement, a labor movement happening up north. Call it whatever you want. People want to say it's good. There were laborers and people that were there that could have aligned with the train workers who wanted to strike but were stopped by injunction. And I believe that was a story that we covered last week. But this new high-vis policy, right, which management unilaterally imposed, is they're on call 24/7, leaving them unable to plan out their personal schedules.
Yeah.
All right. I took a couple days off this week. I've burned up 5 out of 30 points. It will take me a month and a half to earn those 2 days off.
That's ridiculous.
All right. If they use all 30 points, they're subject to discipline up to and including dismissal.
Jesus.
In order to earn 2 points back, you'd have to be on call 14 days, 24/7 to get 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah, the erratic character of the scheduling is worse than it was before high-vis. Right? So the new policy also lays the groundwork to fire experienced higher seniority workers on attendance grounds or pressure them into resigning. They're trying to manage people out to save money. right?
Yeah.
So 50 family members of BNSF workers protested in Needles. Similar protests have taken place in Fort Worth. Yeah, morale's down. The impression is, at least again, this is from one worker,
Right.
that they feel neglected, unheard. No one in the terminals quit, but a lot of people are starting to talk, look for other opportunities. There are rumblings, and that's kind of how it usually starts in a workplace, is you get these rumblings and everything is happy and everything is running along, and then you have something like what just happened, and you're definitely going to have people that are going to look so they're looking to other lines of work. Again, no one in the terminals quit, mostly because they don't want, they're going to be in that industry, and anybody inside that industry, I think there might be a stigma. And if they want to continue doing their job, they're going to have to pretty much stay part of that union, as far as I know. I don't know if there's any privatized, because, again, BNSF is the most restrictive any Tier 1 railroad, par to join their brothers on that list. All right. There's a reason 3 of the top 5 worst companies to work for, rated by Forbes, were Tier 1 railroads. And they're owned by Berkshire Hathaway, I know.
Right.
Yeah, many of my coworkers are looking for other jobs. There are several jobs that would pay similar to what they'd make on their trip rate without having to be away from their home and families. Sit in a hotel room for days and not being paid because they're not on a trip. Total corruption in the union. Where have we heard that before?
Yeah. As always.
They're
Just
separated
last
from
week,
the
in
rank
fact.
and file.
Yeah. Yep. As always. I got into the worst arguments with one of my old friends who was a union rep, right? Like for an entire factory. He was the guy, right? And most of the time he was super liberal about, like, in the way you'd want him to be, but
right,
got Russiagate hella wrong, got, and it was just like, it was just, Jesus Christ, bro, it's like, it's so out of touch with that, but
that's
anyway,
weird.
I mean,
As
it's
a
similar to, like,
union
politics.
rep.
The moment you start, yeah, the moment you start, like, getting into, like, he was elected union, it's like, once you get into that, like, where you're managing people's money and livelihood and whatever, you start to get, like, disconnected,
Yeah, and again,
so
here's how they're short staffing the trains. Crews are often on a train for 12 hours, in a hotel for 24, and then on a train for 12, and so on.
yeah,
And the customer pays for it. 6 trains wait for the one big train to get out of the way sometimes. The infrastructure isn't there for these long trains. Where's this money going? All this money that's going, and again, and it's losing money every year. We're hemorrhaging. Right.
yeah,
So this is Tom Hall, Socialist Equality Party, World Socialist website. I think he actually ran for governor of California, if I remember correctly. And I've actually been digging a lot of his writing. So shout out to Tom Hall. Thank you for covering this.
What did high vis stand for again?
It's that 24-hour on-call thing with the point system.
Gotcha.
Right, so
just makes me think of yellow.
Yeah, points and the dismissal, and then earning points back. And
okay,
yeah, it's worse than it was before high vis. It's an erratic character of the scheduling itself. So again, that's where they're talking about that 12 on, 24 off, 12 on type of thing.
Right.
Where it's hard to be able to, but you're always on call. Yeah, you're on a train for 12 hours, in a hotel for 24, and then a train. I mean, are they being paid for all those hours that they're not on a train? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't know how that works. I'm guessing that they have to be paid. You know, the hotels have to be paid for, and the meals and everything else. But all right, again, the railroad shareholders are basically the puppet masters controlling everything around my job site. When are we going to invest in infrastructure again? Said it's all about quarterly profits. So, I agree with a lot of what this guy writes and what he says here. So, next, diddly doo. Okay, Eric, MSNBC lefties. That's usually who they are. But a union leader, an elected union leader. I mean, that's kind of surprising. Like I said. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be everything. It would just be sometimes something would catch him, and he wouldn't be able to get it. Be listening to too much NPR or whatever.
Yeah, that work shift stuff, like Eric said here, I'll put that up. It's the work shift version of on-demand stocking. Yes, and it's also what they were doing with the factory workers, I believe, at Nabisco, where they were putting them on like 84-hour work weeks and over 7 days. I mean,
Let's go all the way back to one of those first. Was that the Carnegie Massacre? Right, that was the one where it's the Carnegie Steelworks, right, where they had been making them work crazy hours, and a guy fucking died because, he like fell asleep like into a fucking forge or something. Right, like into an anvil, right, and like people like that was literally where like strikers got killed. That was one of the classic fucked up union stories.
Hey, Eric, you were saying something last time about audio levels. Are they better this week? We tried to work on that so that I turned me down and Reef up a little bit. So hopefully that's a little bit better for everybody this week, and it's more normal. All right. So, and I also wanted to call attention. Happy Valentine's Day, since it's about to be in about 20 minutes. Shout out to my wife. Thank you for allowing me to do all of this and have a crazy lifestyle and cover news and stories and spend all this time with everybody else and hold down the fort and be amazing. So I changed up the logo, and I took out some of the red because I thought it was a little overwhelming. So we did that. Haven't noticed a thought about the auto. That's good. Awesome. Excellent. So
I couldn't figure out if the smudge was on my screen or my camera lens. It was my camera lens.
That's really funny. All right. We're going to stay in labor for a little bit longer. Labor! This is another one from Left Voice. Hey, what do you know? Left Voice killing it this week, knocking it out. So, Mike Pappas from Left Voice, who says, bosses are not on your team, and they proved it during the pandemic. Again, Captain Obvious type of stuff. Yep. Can't be stated enough. But when people are looking for, like, show me an article that shows me some evidence and shows me some numbers and shows me some backing, are they issuing an apology for how they handled it, right? Are they promising to do better? Bosses are trying to save face after they lost workers' trust. Well, when someone shows you their true colors, believe them, right? That's Maya Angelou. No one showed their true colors more than bosses clearly during the pandemic. Again, this is, I think the picture is via The Atlantic. I don't think that this article is via The Atlantic. But, again, Mike Pappas is talking about how he used to work at a New York office who apologized to its staff. It's a progressive workplace. BLM plastered all over the walls. It's really tight, libs boast about nonprofits, but it functions just like a for-profit. Funnels patients in and out, right? And the clinic CEO recently issued a statement of apology for the measures it took, acknowledging mistakes and do things differently, and we will do better as a leadership team. So what's he referencing? So he mentioned them in the email.
But I roll harder at that.
Right? Furloughs and a lack of wage increases and the uneven distribution of remote work opportunities, which some staff argue appear to be along the lines of race and class. And the implementation, like we talked about, of a point system, okay, turning patient care into points as in a video game. Gamification of work.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Right? Where they got more points based on how many patients they saw. So they literally turn these guys into like factories.
Yep. And with if you have shitty points, then you're looked down upon. It's literally just ways to judge and discriminate other people's work, pretty much.
So the CEO
for healthcare workers,
it's unbelievable that he's noticed an increase in distrust. What a shock. Okay, but not to worry. Like all CEOs, this one tried to smooth things over and say that the Institute reinforcing how they've tried to make amends by convening more labor management meetings and opening a process to involve voices from across the organization. But it's actually not, posturing. It's platitudes. No such thing as democracy in a system of private, largely for-profit healthcare. There is no such thing as democracy in even nonprofits run by CEOs like any other corporation. Right, so, and they point out and they ask some questions. Have there been any fundamental changes to the institutional structure? No. Are there any material changes, improvements in staffing? Not that we've heard. Do frontline workers have actual control over how the organization is run? Of course not. And did they even receive the hazard pay that they demanded? No. There you go. Instead, what do they get? Platitudes. Is this run by the Democratic Party? Sounds like it.
Probably.
It will come through participating in various committees, right? To voice their opening up more committees for spaces and spaces. It gives the perception that management wants to change, but allows it to control, monitor, and neuter any workplace activism. It really comes down to what one high-ranking staff member of the same institution allegedly told a colleague of mine: my role here is to make people feel heard and then make sure that nothing actually changes. Wow. Devastating. Damn. That quote, that ideology is the ideology of corporate managers in the age of COVID. Well, I think some, but it's not necessarily that nothing actually changes. It's that nothing actually changes that isn't already in the plans or that management isn't on board with as well. Because there are sometimes good ideas that come from the rank and file employees and changes that are easy to implement, money-saving stuff. Puppo! I see Puppo hanging back there. Just saw him turn his head.
Yep.
All right. As Ed Young highlights in his piece in The Atlantic, about 1 in 5 healthcare workers have left their jobs since the pandemic started. Again, talking about a drain.
Whisper.
And emails like this are coming when they're quitting. But why are they quitting? It's not because they're not getting emails from the boss that are saying we're going to listen to you. It's because they're not actually listening to them. And it's not just healthcare, but in this case, they're talking about healthcare. But I think that's happening quite a bit across corporate America, which is why partially why you see a great resignation happening.
Yep.
And there's opportunity out there. There's tons of people hiring. People realized after 2 years being locked away at home, I don't have to do this. There's plenty of other things I can do. There's other things I want to do. And I had a coworker leave to join the military as a chaplain, of all things. Weird, like, okay, like, but that he went to seminary school, and so that's people just they realized that they had epiphanies in life, and this 2 years and showing us, the politicians showing us who they are and how we really are on our own, and how we have to seize every day and try to do everything we can to make it in this time, and working for a crappy boss for crappy pay. If you have any options whatsoever, you're gonna execute that option. You're gonna bail. Again, This was Mike Pappas. He's an activist and a doctor working in New York City. So awesome piece, I have to say. Bosses are not on your team. I think that might be the theme of this show, and maybe we should change it from "How did we miss that?" to "Bosses are not on your team."
I mean, just fuck bosses. I mean, we could ask, like, instead of, like, you know, it's just who's the boss. That would probably
Can we
work. I don't think anyone's done that
Can
before.
we add bosses to all gens?
Yeah.
So, sorry to anybody
Well, you
named
leave
Jen.
Tony Dan.
Sorry to any fans of the show named Jen. Not that Jen.
Who was the boss? Who was the boss? Was it Tony Danza?
I don't think that he was ever the boss. No, he was definitely not the boss. It was Angela who was the boss. But yes, he was on the show who was the boss.
Gotcha.
Democratize the enterprise, as our friend Prof. Wolf likes to say.
I love how you never put that together and what I did the other day, and you just fucking died.
What?
Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza. You know?
The whole, oh my God.
Tony Danza.
Yeah, that broke me for about 30 seconds, and then I got back to real life. You're still laughing about it.
Yeah.
All right, so doobly-doo.
Yeah.
And here we go. Final labor segment. Starbucks. Man.
Yeah, they
Where did
fired
this
him.
happen? And I think I've seen it covered a couple of places, but any chance to get Sharon Zhang in there, I welcome. She's awesome.
Right?
Memphis, Tennessee. During Black History Month, in the city that executed Martin Luther King, now firing workers they claim for violating several safety and security policies. Now, what I have seen, and I don't know if it's in this article, is they have talked a lot about over-managing and moving in more managers than people. Here we go. I was fired by Starbucks today for policies that I've never heard of before, and I've never been written up about before. Like, what?
Right.
How is that? This is a clear attempt by Starbucks to retaliate against those who are leading the union effort at our store and to scare other partners. And this is blatant intimidation tactics. So,
it was kind of like when McDonald's fired the ones that were trying to unionize the butchers. They just like killed the whole butchery program. They just like killed that shit.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. So they're using policies that have never been enforced, such as going behind a counter when partner is not officially working to fire workers. Okay, they chose to selectively enforce policies, and then the workers that were fired made up about 35% of the workers in the store. And that's so there were seven pro-union workers fired today, according to More Perfect Union.
My name is Amy Holden, and I am the former store manager of the Starbucks Poplar and Highland location, where many union partners were terminated today. I was with the company for 9.5 years, so I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what Starbucks policies and procedures are. We have a process at Starbucks when it comes to corrective actions and terminating partners. We do not move straight to termination for anything that is not considered egregious, like stealing and harassment and those kinds of things. Those things we would move towards corrective action to, as long as partner resources supported it. The majority of a violation, a policy violation, would move to some level of corrective action where we would assume positive intent and help that partner correct their action rather than moving straight to termination. It's very rare that we move straight to termination for some sort of policy violation.
I mean, this just goes on, and again, put the link to this article in the chat so that you guys can watch the whole video. But
I heard none of that.
I know. This is definitely union busting, is basically what she's saying. But there's policies and procedures, and that they normally would not take all these different measures. They normally would go through a bunch of different steps before termination, and that they skipped all these steps. Okay, and that's what that says right here. They may be in legal trouble. Company has hired at least 30 lawyers from notorious union-busting Littler Mendelsohn in order to disrupt the union campaign. Companies will often spend tens of thousands, if not millions, to disrupt union drives. 68 stores have already filed to unionize, with more coming in every week.
Right.
Sharon
I
Zhang.
think your input into not cable B as well.
Because
I
had desktop audio share turned off, but I had it turned off for desktop live, so that's, I think, why I fixed it. Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna play any more stuff for you anyway. So, wanted to again, Starbucks. What are you doing? What are you firing these people for?
What?
They're trying to unionize.
Oh yeah,
scumbags. Come on.
I thought you were talking to me.
No. I'm yelling.
I don't know. What am I doing?
I'm yelling at Starbucks.
I would too. Fuck Starbucks.
Yelling at Starbucks. So finally, we're done with our labor segment, and now we're going to get to something that I like to call typical Dems.
Typical Dems.
Their new anti-progressive PAC is funded by corporate lobbyists and PACs. So the PAC is funded by PACs. Well, of course it is. And that's our friend Josh Gottheimer, New Jersey congressman. And hopefully one day he wants to succeed and be Speaker of the House. This is by our friend David Moore over at Sludge through Truth Out. Okay, they're also independent, ad-free investigative news site. Sludge is awesome, as is Truth Out. So a PAC formed last year by House Democrats to combat progressive primary challengers has so far relied almost exclusively on corporate PACs and lobbyists for its funding, according to a review of the group's latest FEC disclosure report. I don't think that comes as a surprise to too many, right? So again, you've got Hakeem Jeffries, Josh Gottheimer, Terry Sewell, and I guess that's just the three of them, right? And then all their credentials and what they serve on. So you've got member of the CBC, former vice chair of the New Democrat, co-chair of the problem solvers, quote unquote, which means that they don't solve problems, they only cause problems. Okay, this is actually more than a Dem Corp, Ed. This is actually a corporate Dem Corp, effectively a right-wing Dem PAC that specifically donates even more money than the regular Democratic Party to defeat progressive candidates and to support more corporate and corporate-friendly candidates. I mean, it's absolutely gross. This is why we can't have nice things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, you've got spent money backing Danny Davis, who's being challenged by Keena Collins, who's a Justice Dem. Okay, again, and I'm not a big fan of electoral politics, but what I do like to do is follow the money. So again, Amy Villela, who I remember from Knock Down the House and from 2018, and it's a tragic story where her daughter actually died. I think it was because she couldn't afford an ambulance, and Medicare for All would absolutely have saved her daughter's life. And she has been a Medicare for All champion, and she ran for office in 2018. I don't believe she re-ran in 2020. I believe she was just an advocate, and she was supportive of Bernie in the primary campaign in 2020, but she is running again in 2022. Again, anybody who's in there that actually would fight for Medicare for All, and as somebody who takes it as personally and goes and visits her daughter's grave, I think that would be a little bit more of a motivating factor than anybody else. But, you know, and again, I'm just glad to see that somebody who's that fierce an advocate is out there running. I wish she wasn't as a Democrat, but that's another story for another day. But here's where that over half the $152,000 it raised in the second half of last year came in largely donations of the maximum 5,000 from Next Energy and Comcast and all the big corporations that want to buy favor with these influential representatives that are part of this PAC. And they want to be able to control the money. They want to wield that power and influence that is worth as much to them as the money going into their own coffers themselves, of which they also have quite a substantial amount of donations. So this is just another way for these corporations. Again, Next Era Energy, I will guarantee if you look up the filings for these three gentlemen, that you will find that they have donated to their campaigns and to their PACs and to their bundlers and to their handlers, and their employees have donated and their executives have donated, and lo and behold, they get legislation passed in their favor. Wonder how that happens.
Yeah.
So here are some of the individual donors who actually work at DC lobbying firms. Okay, that might be kind of a problem, right? And then it digs even deeper into, out of 45 donations from individuals that Team Blue PAC received, only a handful came from people not currently employed by a company or group that hires lobbyists to advocate for its business interests on the Hill. It's just another money laundering front, effectively, to buy ad time. So this is going to media companies. This is going to all their friends and buddies. And then, of course, the consultants get 15%, maybe 10%.
Yep. Almost like PACs are bad.
It's exhausting. Wow.
Almost.
A Medicare for All PAC would really be not a good idea.
Yeah. That would be bad.
That's not a good idea. Not supportive of a Medicare for All PAC, especially a super PAC.
Yep.
So, again, we are currently sitting at over 100 co-sponsors for a Medicare for All bill that, of course, will never make it to the floor thanks to Nancy and our friends that refuse to not vote for her for speaker, which apparently these morons are going to do again if she wins. I can't imagine that they're going to win. I can't imagine that with a razor-thin margin and as badly as they butchered the last 2 years that they're going to be given another shot. Who knows? But we'll see. Now, Team Blue PAC also reported donating $5,000 to fifth-term Representative Diana Titus of Nevada, who's facing a challenge from Amy Villela. Right? And here you go. Hey, how about that? I had not read this, but look, I guess I did kind of provide a little bit of background here. Ran in 2018, Nevada's first, finished in third, right? Supported in that race by Justice Democrats, although she's not currently endorsed by them. Right? Those campaign centers around support for single-payer health care and was endorsed by Cori Bush last year, but we'll see if she gives it this year. Against an incumbent, now that she's a member of the House. I don't know if Nancy is going to take too kindly to that. But
nope.
They were knocked down the House together, so if she did not support her, it would kind of be bad.
Weird.
It would almost be like turning up the music on somebody in chat.
Yep.
Hey, Colin! Hey, there's Colin in chat. How about that? Oh, wait. Cori Bush did turn up the music on you. Hey, how about that? Anyway, Team Blue's website did not feature a list of the candidates that it's endorsed. What a surprise! Dark money. And then Representative Jeffrey's DC office did not answer question about how it views the perception that its donors are seeking political special favors or which other incumbents it will support. I mean, this just has, again, dirty, funneling, money laundering, corruption, buying favor, influence. Hey, this is how Washington works. That's what I have written all over. Oh, look at that. There's a dude now. What's up, fam?
Yeah.
I'll throw that up on mine here. That was on my chat. And you can
Yeah,
say,
you just have
hey,
to, like, that's where I look at chat.
There's our friend, the handsome.
You can also deselect.
What?
FYI on Twidget.
We need to what?
You can deselect on Twidget.
Yes, I know that.
Okay.
All right. Bye, Colin. Bye, Colin. Bye, Colin.
Bye, Colin. Love you, bud.
So we need to separate electoral politics from the duopoly. Yes, we do. I would absolutely love to do that. We also need to
in the duopoly. That
we
would
need
be
to end
nice
the
as well.
duopoly entirely and create a whole new structure, but that's another story for another day. So let's go back to the doodly doo. So we do have a few more stories here. And again, this is our story about typical Dems. And I love this headline out of In These Times. How targeting programs to poor people leaves out poor people. Seems like it might be kind of important. So now they want to means test the child tax credit, right? So in practice, that often means restricting benefits for the very few people who need it the most because they have to file paperwork. Okay. So one of the most effective anti-poverty programs in modern history. Again, don't always agree 100% with every word in every article. Okay, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I think that there was a lot of hype and a lot of right, but they're talking about the history of the child tax credit, not just what was expanded this year. But this year, okay, it lifted over 4 million children above the poverty line, and then dropped them right back below it.
Yep.
All right, so what they did was they are trying to, and it's apparently gaining traction, is to only make it available to families earning under $75,000 per year. Right. Families, not individuals, but families.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right, but if your priority is to lift children out of poverty, this may seem like a reasonable change. Poor families remain eligible for the credit, right? So, okay, that's cool. But while targeting programs seems like an efficient way to allocate resources, they often struggle with lower take-up rates than those that are universal. Now, like, for example, I think even the COVID tests that have been allocated for the government or the amount of housing money that was available. I think at one point there was 90% of the money that was allocated to provide for housing stipends was never actually claimed or was never filed. Nobody actually filed for the paperwork to grab it. Here you go. Here you go. Temporary need assistance for needy families, Maine Cash Welfare Program, had only a record rate of 24.9% in 2016.
Right.
56% at the high and as low as 3% for the intended populations for highly targeted programs. In contrast, more universal programs had a far higher take-up rate, exceeding 90% in some cases. Okay. Universal programs tend to be better known than targeted ones.
Better than targeted ones.
Right. Yep. When everyone's eligible, it's more likely to come up in conversations, covered in media reporting. This is like the ARP, right? That they talked about the ARP. Right? And then comparing the news coverage of these three programs in 2021 using Google Trends, stimulus checks had 3 times the coverage of rental assistance, and EBB wasn't even mentioned enough to be measured. Emergency broadband benefit.
Yep.
If programs aren't being discussed or covered by the media,
something.
People often won't hear about them or know to apply. And as of October, only 1 in 5 eligible Americans had even enrolled in emergency broadband benefit. I didn't even know that it existed.
Yep. Public receivers benefits program may vary significantly, depending on whether the program is more universal, more targeted to low-income people. Yep.
So, 2021 study by researchers, people at risk of eviction were significantly more likely to apply for emergency rental assistance if they first received a destigmatizing message about the program.
Yep. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's just classic shit, pretty much. Like, don't cover the thing that like people need you to cover. Cover everything else.
Right?
Don't do it in a way that it will get coverage. Like,
Unreal.
I mean, then even that is like putting them back into, yeah, it's
here, even when the nearly universal credit, yeah, but it's only nearly universal, right? Okay. While lowering a child tax
Right,
credit
whatever that
only
means.
targets people who have children. I mean, it's great, but it's still a huge gap
Right.
because there's a ton
Like-
of Americans that don't. So
nearly universal sounds like
right,
what
nearly
only counts
universal
in
to whom? To
horseshoes.
parents, yeah, but not
Right.
to every American.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, lack of awareness was an obstacle to getting low-income families to enroll. Political negotiations are challenging, and if it comes down to a question of lowering the income cap or expanding the expanded CTC for good, which would plunge 4 million kids back into poverty, the choice is obvious. If we want to help as many struggling families as possible, we should fight not just to renew it, but to make it a more universal program, which it should be. But there should be more help for other categories of Americans as well as parents of children. I think that would
You can
be
easily share the wealth in this country.
that would be
That would be nice.
fair. Yes, I don't see why we can't do that. Okay, so again, this was Jim Pugh, who I'm not familiar with in these times, but good stuff. Wish it hadn't been that way, but of course. Okay. Now we're going to cover, and have not covered one of her articles in a few weeks. There we go. Caitlin Johnstone. Again, everybody go check this out and listen to her husband do the reading of this. It's priceless. All right.
How does this guy sound like half of his health points have been sucked into the shadow realm?
Who are you talking
The person in the picture.
about? Oh, that's Ned Price.
Yeah.
NED, like National Endowment for Democracy. No, Ned Price. He's a State Department spokesman, and again, this was written on February 6th, and this happened the day after Ned Price was challenged by the AP reporter about Ukraine, and where he said basically, we have the evidence, but I just released the report. I just told you that it was declassified. That's our evidence. What? It's 6 minutes long. I absolutely encourage. I should play a little bit of it. Sure.
Nigeria is planning a false flag in Switzerland. Notes from the edge of the narrative matrix. I'm declassifying evidence that Nigeria is planning a false flag operation in Switzerland. Are you ready? Here it is. Nigeria is planning a false flag operation in Switzerland. See, the evidence is me asserting it. If you doubt this evidence, then you're a propagandist for Nigeria. What? You want proof? I just gave you the proof. I gave you my declassified intelligence assessment. I mean, obviously, I can't give you the raw intelligence you're asking me for without revealing sources and methods and compromising intelligence officers in the field. Is that what you want? For me to compromise intelligence officers in the field? Do you work for Nigerian intelligence? The evidence is secret. It's secret
Never mind,
evidence.
I can't hear this.
What I can give you is the information
can't
we've
hear this?
obtained through thorough intelligence gathering
No.
methods,
Like I
in which
was
our
trying to tell you
intelligence
earlier.
agencies have
Like,
a
you
degree
either
of
had sound
confidence.
suppression and Discord
You're
on,
free
or
to doubt it and believe
input's not
Nigerian
right.
propaganda
And there's a button
instead.
there.
All right, in Discord.
Making your whole thing about opposing a rival political
Yeah.
party is what
Well,
people
whatever.
do when they
I'm just going to pause it anyway. Yeah, making your
Yeah.
whole thing about opposing a rival political party is what people do when they lack the integrity to oppose the murderous empire that's fully backed by both parties. Yeah, I don't know why you can't hear that.
100%. Okay.
All right. Again, whenever your anger is focused on any figure besides the Western Empire and its facilitators, the propagandists have succeeded in doing their job. Yeah. Successful. What's the picture? I think it's like yeah. 13 people, including 6 children. Successful raid. Gross. Okay. And again, these are her random thoughts. I'm a tanky, but only because that now means anyone who focuses their criticisms on the most murderous power structure on Earth. Anyone who thinks it's a good idea to fight the Russians hasn't watched enough MMA. I think I retweeted this, and I know I sent this to you as an MMA fan. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyone? Yeah. Just don't. If you want to invade Russia, you're gonna have to call the Dagestanis first. You know, that's
You need permission because they will whip your ass.
Their approval. Yeah, like they're gonna own you. Yeah.
Number one.
Like
number two, again,
Eagles
just
retired and like just don't go near those mountains.
I just love the fact that she's watched enough MMA to know that you don't mess with Russians.
Yeah, you don't mess with Russians. Don't do that. Hockey, you can watch any sport pretty much. Don't mess with them.
So again, someone who wants to make peace with Russia in order to focus on ramping up aggressions against China is as worthless to anti-imperialists as someone who wants to legalize drugs so law enforcement can focus on locking up gay people would be to civil libertarians. Being dovish on Russia but hawkish on China is not better than being hawkish on both. You're pushing the same amount of aggression toward what is ultimately the same imperialist agenda. You're just doing it a little differently. Again, Tim's so good at reading this stuff. Again, she closed it out with, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Your psychological landscape doesn't match your ideals. That's pretty normal. It's just a matter of patiently doing the inner work necessary for your mind to match your ideals, your speech to match your mind, and your actions to match your speech. She's like a yogi, I swear to God. She's amazing. Oh, we got a Mona sighting. Mona Carmona. Amazing. She's one of the OG friends of Indie Left from before we were even Indie Left. And thank you. We love you, Mona, for being here. Good to see you. Say hi. Hi, Mona. Mona, this is Reef. Reef, this is Mona.
Hi, Mona. I think we met once or twice.
So, yeah,
Seen a few of these shows.
These are my love birds, Mona. Check this out. I changed it the other day. Okay, so we got through Caitlin Johnstone's narrative management. Now, let's get to Popular Resistance also pulled a narrative management piece that I found really strong. Here we go. Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S., the background they're not telling you. And again, this is again about Victoria Nuland and about arming the neo-Nazis and about how we're sending all of our troops, the 100,000 troops on the border. Will Russia invade Ukraine? And if it does, how will the U.S. and NATO react? Already the U.S. and its allies are threatening new sanctions. Again, nobody's talking about Germany in any of this, although apparently Joe was sitting at a table with the Prime Minister of Germany. He's basically said Germany's going to do whatever we tell them, and that may or may not be true. But I just find it fascinating that we have not really heard from Zelensky very much, and we have not heard from Germany at all in any of this.
Yeah,
again,
I mean, we've heard Russia, Putin, and the Ukrainian guy talk about it, right?
Well, yes, again, we heard the Ukrainian guy talk about it once, and basically he said, "Look, we've worked out a deal with the Russians. We're not worried about them invading." Like,
Yeah. And Biden's essentially go, no, they're gonna do it. Like, you know.
Yeah, I swear. Everybody else is like, yeah, no, nobody's saying that they're going to. Well, yeah, but we see that they're troops. But wait, you've got troops positioned all along their borders, and they're moving troops within their borders, which is well within their rights to do. So again, this is about Viktor Yanukovych and how Yanukovych favored Russia. And at the time, we effectively turned Yanukovych, but that what began as peaceful, even celebratory gatherings were quickly taken over by right-wing paramilitary organizations modeled after World War II era Ukrainian militias allied with the Nazi occupiers. So violence followed and Yanukovych fled the country. He was replaced by acting President Alexander Turchinov, and then the pro-U.S., pro-EU, pro-NATO Poroshenko. So this is just some of the background and history. So again, here we go. This entered Victoria Nuland, who personally cheered on these Maidan protesters in Independence Square, later bragged about the role that the U.S. had played in laying the groundwork for 2014 destabilization. And who's Victoria Nuland? I believe, again, Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs now, but she worked in Dick Cheney's office. She worked at, I think it was the NED, if I remember correctly. Max Blumenthal has done a tremendous exposure on exactly what Victoria Nuland has been up to. Translation, the U.S. spent $5 billion intervening in the internal affairs of Ukraine to help steer it away from Russia and toward an alliance with the West, an alliance that would financially benefit the West while further isolating Russia. Open Society Foundation played a major role. And again, what they were trying to do is liberate, and they're neoliberals, so they're trying to get people away from communism and from the corrupt Russia in their minds. Aftermath of the coup, right, which was only an independent country since 1991, which was when the Soviet Union broke up. Today, 17% of Ukraine's population is made up of ethnic Russians. And many more speak Russian as their primary language, and as they tend to identify with the Soviet victory over the Nazi occupation of Ukraine. However, there is a lot of, it went quickly about banning symbols of the Soviet era, right? And here's, that the first acts of the new coup government was to declare that the only official language would be Ukrainian. It went about banning symbols of the Soviet era and replacing them with memorials to Nazi collaborators. These are the people that I believe Joe Biden is giving money to. Again, great deep dive into the history of what happened here. Odessa, amazingly enough, I've actually visited Odessa when I was 17 years old. I got to go to a resort there with a school trip. 42 activists promoting this view were massacred at the House of Trade Unions back in 2014. Wow. What does Russia want? And this is a good question. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, they want NATO basically to disband. I think that's part of it. Okay, what they want, I know, is that they don't want NATO to expand further east and to honor the agreement of stopping at Germany's border.
Right.
And again, this goes and it looks back into the history. U.S. officials now deny that this is from the LA Times as of May 30th. Okay, here we go. This is where they, with the assurances that they would not move eastward, and we are now denying that. But
Yep.
with we have it. It's yes. That's gaslighting. So today, NATO has expanded to 30 member countries, with 14 either former members of the Soviet bloc or part of the former the socialist state of Yugoslavia. Right? Talking about nuclear arsenals.
Nuclear weapons, yep.
Today, Russia is faced with a massive military and political alliance that includes Estonia and Latvia, 2 of the 6 countries on its western and southern borders. And there's like a needle to be threaded, if I remember correctly, that like there's Russian territory that goes kind of around Ukraine.
Right.
You look at it on the map. Here, as for Russian invasion, some key figures are expressing doubt. This is from the Associated Press. Okay. Ukrainian National Security Defense Council Secretary noted the wave of Russian troops amassed at Ukraine's border is not news. We do not see any grounds for statements about a full-scale offensive in our country. I would think that he would have a better idea than Ned Price. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Head of the German Navy had resigned over controversial comments he made over Ukraine. He said that Russia wanted to invade was nonsense.
Yep.
He added that all Putin wanted was respect, and that he resigned with immediate effect to avert further damage. Right. So what does Washington want? Yep. There's a really, again, editor of the Virginia Defender, which I actually started following. All right, and coordinator of the Odessa Solidarity Campaign. So again, he's got a stake in this because he organized a delegation of peace activists that traveled to Odessa to stand in solidarity with the people of that city on the 2nd anniversary of that massacre. Thank you, Phil. This is good piece, good stuff. Again, looking for context and looking for background and looking for the other side that's not being presented by corporate media and by everybody else around us that's not in our immediate political circle. Just about everybody we know is being fed Russia good, Russia bad, Ukraine good, Ukraine needs to join NATO, not being given any of the context. Ukraine wants to join NATO, which we're not. That hasn't even been confirmed. Nobody's actually come out and said that, as far as I know. And then again, there's the agreement about moving east of Germany and the fact that we've already convinced other nations, and Russia's finally saying enough. Like, guys,
right?
Like, I mean, and on top of it, without the Warsaw Pact even in existence, what is the need for NATO to begin with? I mean, it was partly to counter the Warsaw Pact. So I'm not saying to necessarily get rid of NATO, other than the fact that they do have a standing army. Okay. So next I have got, oh, you're going to love this. We're up to your favorite part. We're going to go to Rooftop Solar. There were 2 articles about Rooftop Solar this week. We covered one last week. This one's pretty amazing. Analysis shows Rooftop Solar could have saved lives during the Texas deep freeze.
Yep.
Like, the sun was shining over our heads. Of course it was. Right. It's clean, more affordable, and primed to help move a more resilient electrical grid. I was actually talking to somebody tonight, earlier at a party for a football game that I don't want to mention the name of because I don't want to get DMCA'd or copyright infringement or somebody from the NFL yelling at me. But why has there not been a national effort to put solar panels on the roof of every house in America and every building? Do you think we can make enough energy?
Because Yes, we definitely could.
Yeah.
But
You know, I think that is a fantastic effort, and I don't really see too many people other than people who work for other type of energy companies that would disagree with it.
Yep.
Most people just don't want to or don't understand what it takes to get into migrating to solar or to adding solar to your mix. I think a lot of people think that it's wildly expensive, and I think there are government subsidies that can
it's much better than it used
that can help with the cost. Plus, I know the cost of solar have come down tremendously. As well, I know that Tesla has that power wall, which is pretty cool, that the way they store it. But so what this new paper for Environment America Research and Policy Center. Okay. And who are these people? I'm sure it would find out if you looked at the paper.
Yeah.
Okay? The impacts of these power losses were nothing short of catastrophic, damages totaling up as much as $195 billion. Solar facilities and nuclear power stations all contributed to reduce power generation during the freeze. Gas-fired generating units made up 55% of all unplanned outages and derates by the capacity. So they ran out of, they didn't have enough gas to deliver, and then the pipes froze. So the research group used the Texas crisis as a case study to illustrate how small-scale distributed solar could not only provide electricity, but also relieve strain on the power grid during times of stress. Solar power has grown 123-fold in Texas over the last decade, which is great. But again, this is oil Texas.
Yep.
Texas's technical potential for rooftop solar alone is 97,800 megawatts, which is more than 15 times the total installed capacity at the time of the 2021 crisis. So they have capacity to grow and to handle much more of the demand. And local distribution. We have this inexhaustible source above us that could have kept the heat on, and we're barely using it. That just doesn't make sense. When the storm hit, a total of 6,349 megawatts was installed on Texas rooftops in utility scale installations, at least, where they can measure it. And they entered this year with significantly greater solar capacity to meet this winter. But what does that mean? So maybe there'll be 7,000 out of a potential 97,000. So you're talking like 8% of the capacity right now.
Yep.
Or there were last year, right? Meanwhile, ERCOT was that agency that Rick Perry famously, was in charge of, and then he fired some of the people, and they were blamed heavily for what happened last year. And as it turns out, they, of course, were bidding stuff out to private companies, and there was a whole mess behind them. The amount of small-scale solar was 31% higher at the end of 2021 than it was in the first quarter. So they are working to get more solar in there. I think that it's a time crunch in part of it, and there's only so much you can get out there. But here you go. Now, if your roof is covered in snow, I don't think your solar panel's going to work very well.
Yeah, I mean it'd do better than you because they're already at a pitch, right? So
number one, number two, you should have capacitors that have stored up energy,
stored stuff
over days, right?
You can always, rooftop solar already has like heating stuff too that'll that'll do that. Have you ever heard of the solar roadway thing?
Yes.
That was
oh my God, that's so brilliant. I know. I think it was Sweden. They talked about that, of course. Volvo and the people up there.
Well, I think there was somebody that was going to try to do it in Canada that it didn't work out, and whatever. But their idea, I think, is you already have a concave road surface, right? You heat the top edge,
Hmm.
and snow should melt off of it, right?
Here's the
So
report itself again, which you can download the PDF right from this website, from the Comet Dreams site I linked. And again, it's a 15-page PDF that I'm sure will have many more insights than what was published in that article, what the coverage is, and you can see what the total potential is and exactly how much was there last February. I mean, it's shameful. And this is something we could be doing. Again, Joe is all about clean energy and transforming our grid. I mean, he wants to go to, he wants to switch to electric cars and switch the entire fleet. Where's the electricity coming? The increased electricity coming from to power all of that?
right.
So here's their appendix. Here's their conclusions. The power crisis offered a reminder of the fragility of the energy systems that most Americans depend on. During extreme weather events, the network of power plants, transmission lines, and fuel pipelines that power our lives can fail, and the consequences can be dire. Fortunately, we have the tools to greatly reduce these risks and build a truly resilient energy system. Rooftop solar is definitely one of these tools. Taking advantage of the nation's vast rooftop solar potential would not only help build a more reliable grid, but also reduce the other environmental and public health impacts of our current energy system. Of course, it's a key building block of a greener, cleaner, more resilient energy future in Texas and across the U.S. Now, you sent me an article this week, and I did want to include that as well. And that came from PV Magazine, which I'm guessing is local to you somewhere in Florida.
It's a local. Yeah, there's I found it on Reddit, so who knows where it came from, but it's definitely the Florida part was what I cared about, right? So
Florida
there's
man.
right. So there's a net metering bill that's coming up that might mess with rooftop solar here.
Right.
So I'll let you take over a bit, but
again, under this, it says right here, under the proposed reduction to the compensation, 93% of surveyed solar shoppers say that they are no longer interested in buying. So they effectively are trying to kill public interest in this program by killing the subsidy that would make it affordable to everyone to install, when we need to be going in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah.
And this is in Florida, where there's sunshine all day. And when it's
literally
not raining,
the sunshine.
Literally.
Yes. Yep.
So again, people would also, commercial systems with less than 2 megawatts are eligible to sell their excess generation back, right? But the new bill calls for a new structure, which loosely defines that public utility customers owning or leasing renewable generation pay the full cost of electric service and are not subsidized by the public utility's general body of ratepayers. So now you can't sell your excess energy back to the energy companies is effectively what they're saying. You can give it to them, but that they are not allowed to buy it.
Right. Well, part of the problem is that in Florida, you have to be on grid, right? They won't let you off grid for the most part, right? So you have to, your house has to be linked to, the grid power, which means that your solar is most likely going to be linked to that grid power. And if you're making any, right, it's not part of what happens here. Like I've got solar on the roof here, right?
Yeah.
And it's not much. I forget what exact wattage it is, but it essentially, it's not enough to recoup the energy cost, right? But it's enough to massively 20% off of that bill, you know, 30 or
Right.
40, like, you know what I mean? Right? So, you know, because we're giving them that energy back at some point when we're not using it. Right?
Right.
So, you know, um, but like that's pennies here and there, but I mean that saves up over a month of energy, and you end up with like $300-400 knocked off your, you know, bill. So it's essentially claiming that that's you're probably already going to be charged for the power you're using, you know. So then it's not economical to even put solar on unless you can like completely neutralize your electrical bill, right?
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, you want to be able to go off grid effectively and power your own house, and then if you can sell some back, but at least not have to pay a monthly energy bill for sure, except for in a backup capacity.
yeah.
Again, what this is saying is 74% of respondents will no longer consider going solar if the proposal passes. It's effectively, you know, a program killer. And I read somewhere somebody saying that it could set solar back in Florida 10 years.
Yep.
There was a rally planned for February 8th in the afternoon in Tallahassee at the governor's, you know, at the state capitol.
Yep.
Again, 90,000 of the 8.5 million electric consumers in Florida are topped with solar. Okay, and the utility argues that this is some 1%, some 1% of Floridians are creating significant costs for the other 99. What if they up that from 1%?
Yeah.
You know? Or they increase that coverage. 40 of 43 states with net metering programs have a negligible cost increase attributable to solar. Okay, and the cost picture remains this way until penetration reaches 10% of total generation. Well, again, that means that they've got to get more people. Again, why are we putting this on every roof in America right now? It's still, you know, on every roof that it makes sense and it has the coverage to do so. But to subsidize and to augment some of the costs on and some of the stress on the grid that exists right now, and that we keep increasing as everybody adds more electronics and more things to their houses every day and to their businesses. So, there we go. That is our rooftop solar. Okay, so the last thing that I had for today, and we saw this in our with some friends of ours, and I don't want to do that. And let's blow this up while we're doing that. And Reese gonna take himself a little hit. Apocalypse Now.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Johnny Vedmore. Whitney Webb, Unlimited Hangout. By all means, dead birds falling from the sky and raining down on cars. What the hell is going on? Okay, so a woman driving home was greeted with an eerie sight as she came across dead birds lying on a road in Pembrokeshire. Looked like a massacre. Oh. One man added he heard a loud bang before 7 or 8 birds rained down in his car.
Okay.
Why had they died? Electrocution? Were they chased before hitting the road? Like, that's a lot of freaking birds. What?
Yep.
What
like
is?
this happened in a few places, like
Well,
right?
I'm
not just
I'm getting there. I'm getting to that, which is that she didn't hang around. What the hell happened? Have your say in the comments, of course. They want to know. It's like hundreds of birds in the sky, and all of a sudden they just died and fell to the ground. It was quite surreal last night, to be honest with you. Not something I've ever experienced before. No, me neither, I would have to say. I would imagine that it would be traumatic to see hundreds of birds dead laying on the floor, on the ground outside your house. Yes. It even managed to scoop up one of the stunned birds and take it home still alive. Wait. She thought the birds had died on impact and even managed to scoop one of the stunned birds up and take it home. She's planning to release it later today. So not all of them necessarily died. That doesn't look alive.
Right. No.
Okay, she strongly believed whatever the incident was man-made. And even more suspicious, again, no clear indication as to the cause of these deaths. Over 200 starlings found dead on the road. Wow.
So we just know.
Ford found on road dead. Isn't that what Ford stands for?
Yeah, well, supposedly.
And let's see it. Now let's blow this up. Oh,
Jesus. The whole murmur gets fucking fucked up, huh?
This is in Mexico.
And they don't know what's happening there either.
It's a minute 7 long. So like this entire flock, yeah. And then like some of them start to move and recover and wake up, but a lot of them don't. And nobody knows what the hell. Look at this. 23,000 likes. Dead birds falling from the sky in Wales. Then the solar
have you heard
there it is.
The
like the Matrix
of birds aren't real? Have you heard of this?
No.
There's a subreddit that is dedicated to like trying to tell the world that birds aren't real, that they're surveillance devices. Pretty much. I mean, I think it's a joke subreddit. It's a joke subreddit, but it's a pretty fucking good one.
Speaking of the devil.
Yep, birds aren't real.
Every
Pigeons
bird
are
is a
liars.
government surveillance drone. Holy boy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really?
Even ostriches, they're real. Yep.
The Earth had a magnetic event due to solar winds. Magnetic is how birds do these big flying balls. It threw off their compass. Happened all over on February 10th.
Okay.
Interesting.
Cool. That's probably good.
Huh. Now, again, this shows you Twitter. 1 million views, 7,000 retweets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But meanwhile, when you go to load this, it shows you one thread and then more tweets. Yeah. You have to click here to show more replies to see like the deal. Like I'm already looking at this, right? Thousands of replies.
Right.
Thank you, Twitter, for suppressing the fact that this was a huge, huge shared story. They're trying to suppress this. Why?
Yeah.
All right.
Who knows?
That was my apocalypse now. I have no idea what the hell's going on with that, but that was crazy shit. So,
right.
Those were all of the stories that I had, and wow, it was over 2 hours of stuff that I had alone.
Almost 2.5.
I told you I had a lot of stuff today.
Uh-huh.
All right. Ready for some boats?
I watch YouTube. Boats that smash into other boats.
Wow. There you go.
Oh,
Here
hey,
I am.
It's me.
Hey.
Big.
You big.
Bigly. Tremendous. I had to press this button here.
Oh, wow.
So, we were talking about this earlier, that owl thing, the superb one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they caught, right, the warm up to the halftime show.
Yeah, he's warming up.
Right, he's warming up. I
He's
didn't know
getting
this had
toasty.
music. 'Cause I didn't. But yeah, he's just chilling out, hitting the fucking
Nice.
weed right before halftime for
He's
the
in that
national
little-
football.
He's in this little house on stage in a halftime show.
Yep.
Like, I watched the halftime
Yep.
show. It was insane.
Oh, I'll have to go check it. I missed it.
It was really good,
But
actually.
so happy Valentine's Day.
I got a heart-shaped bong for you.
Yeah, got a
Even the
heart-shaped bong.
slides got a heart on it. That's impressive.
That's impressive. This is a good piece.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good gift.
I
If any
love you.
ladies want to get it for me, I would appreciate it. But I have a bit of weed news, right? We talked about this the other day a little bit,
Yes.
right? So the Minority Cannabis Business Association, which I can make this bigger for people so we can actually read some things. Why does
Probably
Google
need to
do that
hide your-
sometimes? Text.
Might want
Yeah.
to hide your screen. Maybe not.
Sure. So on February 10th, the Minority Cannabis Business Association, MCBA, will take the first steps on a journey to usher in a new era of social equity, right, with the release of the National Cannabis Equity Report and Equity Map, with support from the ArcView Group and associated with Weed Maps and Parallel. So bunch of big money trying to get on this so that they can appear, good. The report and map provides critical data from social equity programs as well as the other policies impacting equity in medical and adult use markets. Right? Equity map is a dynamic tool for advocates, lawmakers, and stakeholders to gather and track policies that will provide an understanding and analysis of the numerous barriers to entry for minority operators on a state and municipal level. As new states and policies come online, the report and map will be continuously updated to reflect the current standing of the social equity in the country, at least on weed businesses. So they want to empower advocates and all that good stuff. 7 initial conclusions to be used to re-examine state social equity programs, which include the use of non-race criteria and social equity qualifications, timely funding, license caps, and ownership bans for individuals with past cannabis convictions.
Sure.
So that's the major thing that they want to deal with, right? 41 policy points from several states, right?
Who's on the MCBA? I wondered.
Partially Parallel. I mean, Weed Maps. I don't know exactly. Says David Abernathy, Principal ArcView Consulting and MCA board member, right? We at least know one. With this seminal work, we can finally start to account for what's worked and what hasn't, and use that knowledge to create more well-crafted and effective social equity provisions and make the shifts that are essential as we move forward. So, access the National Cannabis Equity Report. I'll put that link in chat.
There you go.
So
Eric always blames Putin. That's a good bet. Blame Putin.
Good bet.
RFU Group.
But yeah,
this is a press release. Okay. So they're looking out for minority-owned weed maps businesses, or cannabis businesses in partnership with Weed Maps, who performs a great service.
Yep. Pretty much.
Nice.
Pretty much.
Cool. Get some weed news. Oh, hey, all around the world.
Take over the world. Also, this looks like a pacifier to me.
It sure
I know
does.
it's a dab cap. It does look like a pacifier to me, but I just thought it was a nice little piece. So, in other news, Delta 9 THC can be detected and quantified in the semen of men who are chronic users of inhaled cannabis. So good news, I guess.
For what?
Shit, it's a study. I mean, I don't know.
What?
Um,
Well, are they literally trying to pull the THC out of my semen? Is that what they're trying to do? What?
I'm just saying you might be able to argue the benefit is,
What?
you know,
What, that it's medicinal? Like for medicinal purposes? Is that what you're talking about? Honey, you need to have sex with me because I'm full of THC for medicinal purposes.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you were going there. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I was, in fact. I'm glad you quantified.
Thank you. Thank you,
I,
sweetheart.
that is the opinion of, yes. Age and BMI of participants. Yeah, I mean, it just goes through and says that there was quantifiable levels pretty much, right? That, you know, so like, okay.
So they could tell that you used a bunch and it not only permeated into your bloodstream and into your hair and into your everything, but into your semen as well. Is that basically
urine and semen, yes. Yep. Serum, urine, and semen. Yep.
Why am I not surprised? Okay.
Yep. So yeah, literally that's the article is literally just like, yeah, this is the thing, and then nothing else.
I am about
Really,
to go.
PubMed.
Yeah.
Well, right. Welcome. But anyway, so this is fucking ridiculous. So I'll just play this video and we'll
cartridges with THC? No? Yeah. I do, man.
And within 5 minutes of releasing him, the trooper reached over and got that vape pen out of the seat and was nibbling on it to see what it tasted like. Went another 25 minutes down the road, pulled over on the shoulder of the road, and started hitting on it. The DA's
Wow.
Inhale THC. That sounds.
I accidentally inhaled.
I pushed it out as fast as I could, and there was smoke everywhere. I never seen anything smoke so much. I did not mean to inhale it. I mean, I smoked weed before highway patrol. I told them whenever I
Look at him coughing his face off.
I was wigged out.
Wigged out. Holy shit! What a great
God.
news report. First of all,
Yeah.
fuck you, ACABs. Again.
Yep.
And fuck you for stealing that guy's fucking vape and smoking it.
And then being like fucking pulling the Clinton excuse. I did not inhale.
Noli,
Like,
I know, gets access to police videos like this all the time. Shout out to INN member Noli D. Go follow Noli D, Noli space DEE. Surprised she's not here.
Yeah. I saw her on Twitter a minute ago, but
Nice.
yeah, she's just getting back in the thing. So that's the dispensary. We all know what goes well with stuff from the dispensary, right?
Cookies.
Girl Scout cookies.
Cookies.
Girl Scout cookies.
Genius.
Such a good move.
Sign her up for marketing. She knows target audience.
I mean, yeah, high people do the weirdest things with food, right? Where's my why do things move when I want them? We'll get to that later. But anyway, lowest bud on the lowest branch. that's that bottom bud.
Oh boy.
I don't know if you've ever grown your own, but that's the bud at the bottom of the branch. No light.
It's the gremlin.
Yeah. When will I learn that smoking as much as possible before I go to the airport won't keep me high for my entire flight? It'll just make going through security terrifying.
Disagree.
Like,
Agree to disagree on that one.
Agree to disagree. The fields when other states outside of Texas are legalizing weed.
That feeling when. That reminds me. That's like the meme for Joaquin Phoenix and Her.
Right. Yep. It's a very similar one.
Yep.
So a bit of history has been found. Rock and roll history. Mick Jagger snorted cocaine from that plate.
I want a certificate of authenticity.
I know, right? It's just a bit of tape on it. Like, dude, some partier has kept that for years, man.
Nice.
But this is what high people do with food.
Oh,
this is ridiculous.
My lord.
You don't even know yet.
What the?
You just see the picture and you're like,
fuck?
Oh, yeah. Looking at it as a cheeseburger that was deep fried in cheese oil. Now, this looks pretty cool, but that's not how this experiment was done. Because like this, it would just turn out soggy. See, the first thing to do is to extract cheese oil. And to do that, you just heat up the cheese as much as possible and you can see that it's separating. Once that was done, I went ahead and made some meatballs because it was time to cook. I went ahead and started by smashing it. Then I immediately put it to deep fried on the cheese oil. I made sure that it got a nice crust. Look at this. What? You see, as it's frying, the infusing into the meat, but I took it to the next level by putting cheese right on top. Then I dunked the whole thing in the cheese oil. Then the only thing left to do is to stack them up on top of each other and place them on a beautiful bun with some sauce. And in the end, you just crown it just like this. Now this is an extremely juicy burger. Now the big question is, how does it taste?
Oh, wow. All right, this is the one. How is this possible?
How is this possible?
Weed.
Wow.
Copious amounts of weed.
I am a lover of cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
I now have a mission in life.
Yeah. Yep.
Where
I'm
the
down
hell
to
do
try
you
that.
get one of those?
You got buy a bunch of blocks of cheese, I guess. Extract that oil.
I don't want to make it because I don't want to burn down my house making it, but I want to eat one.
Your house making it. Oh yeah, I'm down. Someone's gonna make that. Heart Attack Cafe.
Yep.
I mean, you could always have cereal instead. You could just put it in a bag. You don't even need a bowl.
He's got the no. That's a fail. Wham.
That is a fail. Womp womp. Oh, I don't know if you saw this on my show yesterday. At the start.
With the eyes. Yeah, I remember this.
Wake up.
This is like JB as a kid.
You can't go to sleep. No sleep.
No
sleep.
Oh, no sleep. You can't fall asleep.
Wake up. You can't.
Like, I fucking love that kid's face. It's the most adorable thing on the planet.
Oh my god. That's baby JB Font right there.
It is baby JB Font. This fucking thing. All right. So.
Oh no.
We are in the dad zone. So. I figured you had such a lovely day with your kids.
Oh boy.
You would appreciate.
I need some dad zones.
Yeah, you do. So he gets his head stuck.
Okay, he sees
and
the other
like,
kid
wait.
go through. But
Yep.
but he oh god no.
I looked. He's fine.
Oh my god! I hope so. Jesus Christ!
Kids are fucking dumb.
Oh my
Kids are
god!
dumb.
Oh, it looks like a hanging, dude.
I know.
Dude, get that off my screen. That looks awful. Take that down. Oh, stop! You're gonna give me DMCA in a second. We gotta stop the YouTube part of this. Oh my god! Ah!
What do you mean? We're gonna lose everyone. Don't.
Oh my god!
Everyone's here.
Everybody switch to Twitch. All right,
we're fine.
Flower Girl just wait.
Wait.
Did she really kick the Flower Girl?
Yep.
Nice.
She was the flower girl. Like she threw the flowers.
No, she took out the girl behind her in the backflip.
Yeah. So this is the kind of parenting we all deserve.
Oh my god. Is that an extension cord? Where's it going to?
Do the swing.
Wait, it's pulling the swing for the kid. Oh my god, dude. That's dad level genius.
That's dad level right there.
That's dad level genius right there. I have the worst neighbors. No, you have the funniest neighbors.
Oh, kindergartner makes 911 call after dad drives through red light.
Oh no.
Like,
oh, that's my kid right there.
I could never disown my child for being gay or sexually active, but if I raised a snitch, they have to pack their shit and go. You know? I love that.
You know, it's really funny you say that. Because last week we had a snow day. Okay? And I'm working downstairs. And I got a phone call and it said that it was the police department. And is everything okay in the house? Yes, everything's fine. Do you have any children in the house? Yes, I do. Do you think any of them might have called 911? Yes, I do. Sure enough.
Do you think any of them could have called? Yeah. Like,
yes.
Anyway.
That's quite possible. Well, after several denials, my son did come out and say, fine, yes, I did it.
Right? That's funny.
He's 4.
I think you'll appreciate this one. You'll feel for this woman so much.
Like, Jade. Oh, sorry, mommy. I'm so sorry.
Fucking kids crying. The other kids like fucking run away. And she's like, oh god. In the other room, like fucking just howling. The other kid's not even crying. Just fucking the mom was just like, oh god.
It's a better punishment than I could have given him.
Right. So, did you see this shit?
Oh shit!
This shit fucking got me.
Wait, what?
The fucking they wanted to surprise their grandma and fucking shit, and the fucking grandma showed up.
No way, dude! Best grandma ever, right there.
Best grandma.
Best grandma ever. Oh, that is the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen. Oh my god.
These costumes are the best. I love the dinosaur costume. Every time I see it, it's hilarious. That and someone in a horse mask.
And there was an attempt. I love the Reddit, the subreddit.
Hey, Grandpa, look at me. Does nothing special. Grandpa. Oh my god. I just love the airplane face.
I see the eyes.
Yep. I just figured if we had grandma love, we gotta show grandpa some too, right?
That's a kick-ass grandma dinosaur suit. Think fast. Oh no. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Beer.
Think fast. Listen, that child is going to be a pro athlete.
Is he now?
Look at the freeze is just perfect.
Right? The freeze is
Right after hearing that child is going to be a pro athlete.
Pro athlete. Yep.
Wait. What? Hey! Scream! Scream!
Did not work out, did it?
Ripped the door right off the damn hinges. Are those wood hinges?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they're maybe. Yeah, maybe it might have been what it is.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they definitely not supportive.
Nope.
This one. All right. We're at the bar, right? And
Are we on a ship this time or no?
No, not on a ship. I think this is just a regular Irish bar, right? And like the dad who's probably like worked all week, has got to have the kids with him at the bar.
He's a yellow vest. Based.
Out of nowhere,
Oh, he didn't even budge. He did not even budge.
Bro, didn't even flinch.
Dad did not even budge. Oh,
dude,
that hurts.
Not even like they didn't even pay any attention.
Okay,
whoever that guy
kid is not getting up anytime soon. Wow, can I see the rest of the video, please?
Yeah. I think that was
Nobody
it.
move. Oh, and wait,
this kid. Oh,
bartender
shit.
got him.
Bartender got him. Kid, you okay? You need anything?
Damn, that hurts. Oh no! Don't give a kid sushi.
You ever tried giving? You ever tried like using chopsticks?
I'm a chopstick guy, but my kids are not.
Yeah, me too.
It's like playing hockey.
Pick it up, kid.
Oh my god.
He was so angry.
He wanted to pick it up with the sticks. What the
fucking get these fucking socks off me. And
socks.
No, off.
Nice.
Off.
Nice.
Like,
and now I'm gonna piss on your floor.
Yep. I mean, just all right. I gotta be. So.
Okay. He
scares cat. Right. Well, cats like to get revenge. So.
Oh my god.
We're gonna get him. Oh shit. We're not gonna fucking do shit. What are you doing, cat? It just stands there.
An effort was made.
Guess what subreddit that's from?
It was an attempt, like I said. Yeah.
Cats do get revenge eventually.
Oh!
Surprise, motherfucker!
Only if somebody throws him first.
Where did that cat come from, dude? And it's just like everyone's like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" Anyway,
he just cleared the table.
Look at this. What? Why?
Oh.
Why is there so many?
Natural selection right there.
It's so fucking dumb. There's way too many cats in one space. So a new species has been found.
Oh my.
The rocktopus.
Did you see that dumbass simp Andrew Yang? The Rock should run for president because he saw him on the opener of the Super Bowl. Dude.
Yep.
Go away. Seriously, go away. Andrew Yang, go away. Corgis are funny.
Corgis are funny.
The music is great.
Great. Why won't his fucking butt stay down? He's just like, as God floats. Woo! Fucking.
He just he's got a light butt.
He's got a light butt. All right. We got doggos. Right, we got more doggos. Okay. This is a similar issue to the cat situation.
Oh boy.
Couple of doggos.
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Oh no!
He fucking rolled.
Oh boy.
So this one,
that's a duck.
Right, it's got
flag.
So this is a GoPro at the beach, right? And hey, is that your GoPro? Oh, it's because here. Why? We had to see what they were actually looking at originally. Here's these ladies fucking like,
Working
yeah, we
out.
did it. We got this on.
I'm gonna take your camera now. And now you're gonna watch me work out on camera. Holy shit, that's great.
Oh.
What
So,
in the fresh hell is that?
I think this is to make your eyebrows on fleek.
Threading?
Right?
Is that what that's called? Oh!
No, God,
no! Electrocution! Ooh, yeah, that's not good. Oh. You might as well just You might as well just go Bob Geldorf and fucking just take it all off.
Super surprised forever.
Woo! Huh?
Turns out a very bad idea.
Wow.
A very bad idea.
Sta com força. Vou bater aquele futebol, ó. Tá com força nas pernas.
We gotta train for soccer.
What is... Oh no. Oh no. Oh! Bands hurt badly.
Oh God.
Bands.
It hit him like right in the back.
Bands are not your friend. Sorry.
No. I have a bunch of them right there on that wall back there.
Not a
I
fan
try
of
not to
bands.
do
Not the kind of bands I
dumb
like
stuff.
to watch.
Right. So
Is that Trump?
this one's long. This is Romania, but good guess.
They look like Trump.
This one's a long one. You just got to be along for the ride on this one. I mean, it's a minute long. Not that
Okay.
long.
That's not bad. It's just pole dancing, so I'm down with that.
This is a wedding. And the fucking wife.
Look at the bride's face.
This isn't it. This is not the.
Yes. Did she pull down the whole tent? Please tell me she doesn't pull down the tent.
What were you saying?
Oh, she pulled down the tent.
Oh.
See that coming.
Look at the bride. She's just like, oh my God, Becky. I'm gonna fucking kill Becky.
Oh, that bitch in the red dress. I didn't even want her to come.
I didn't want her to come. Oh God.
Who the fuck invited her? Dude, whoever friend she is, she's not their friend anymore.
No. Or they're best of friends, one of the two. You know? Like, so we're washing the fucking store.
Lobster tank? From the lobster tank? That's
right, and we're washy.
Dirty,
dip,
washy. Ew. Okay, that's not a bucket, dude. That's their home.
Right, yeah, and Pish normally get really pissed off, right? So they called Aquaman.
Yes.
Yeah, Fish. They called Aquaman,
Fish
right?
pissed
And
off, too.
on the other side, on the other side of the store, right, where the rest of the crew are cleaning up like normal people, right? You know.
Oh, look
Aquaman.
outside! Look outside! Oh,
I don't think that.
Oh, that's a bad idea. Oh, that's
I
a
don't think that's
bad idea. You're lucky you didn't get a glass door shoved in your face. Head to higher ground is the right answer.
Yep.
That dude had the right idea. Get on the counter.
Right. Get up on something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought, you know, the fish deserves getting revenge on that one. You know,
nice.
Putting a mop in a dirty water like that. You ever been on rope swings before?
Sure.
You ever seen when people fuck up rope swings?
It hurts. Oh no. Oh, I was right.
It's on the way back. It's on the way back that like
yep.
You think it's gonna happen then.
Yep.
You know?
No, it's
you'll fucking love this one. All right.
And a hard-fought battle on both ends. Each team, well, they had their differences, but they're showing good sportsmanship here. Is never mind.
Never mind. Dude, give that announcer a raise. Holy shit, that's great. Never mind.
Each team, well, they had their differences, but they're showing good sportsmanship here. Is never mind.
Never mind. 2 shots to the stomach and 1 to the face. Sign that kid up for UFC. Dude, look at his technique.
Oh, speaking of technique. Oh, we have another great announcer.
An experience, and it is all about improving no matter what obstacles get in your way. This pole vaulter proves it here because, oh my balls, it looks like this athlete hit his pole on the vault. Seems like he got dipped on the way. His dick and balls got in the way. A literal cock block, folks. His penis is too big. But calling the is a winner. I'm very funny. Probably didn't expect to lose though because of his own pole here today. But with a schlong like that, you can never lose, really. We are getting word that on the day, though, you cannot use 2 poles in 1 jump. Let's check the replay right here. You see it, yeah. Energy. This is the only time you'd want a tiny member. What a hard moment for him. He tried to vault with a strong pole. Never good when your pole touches another pole without consent. But you will learn that no matter in life, you will always face stiff competition. Turns out to be himself this time. If only it were a bit colder.
Oh, God.
If only it were a bit colder.
I'm a teenager. Yeah, that's funny shit. I'm an infantile fucking person. That's okay.
So many dad jokes in that shit. All right, so you see this line right here?
Uh-huh.
This line right here. You're not supposed to park to the other side of the line, right?
Okay.
You're not supposed to go outside.
Sure.
Look at the line of them.
Wait.
This guy is like just.
He's making sure that they're within the line.
Right. Yeah. Look how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them.
Jeez.
He was 6
I'd
of
be
them.
pissed if that were my car.
Oh my God! Could you imagine? Oh.
Well, that sucks. Is exactly it. Oh boy.
You know, abrupt chaos.
Lady, is there a Mentos involved here somewhere?
The fresh maker. How did
you
know? Times on a couple of different videos, and I'm not quite sure this is real.
Oh no!
And I just.
Oh sweetheart. Oh no! Oh you poor lady. Oh you poor woman.
That's just fucking funny. It's just is funny. She found out today, huh? That's just real. Y'all ain't gonna guess. Fucking, you put Mentos in Coke, it does fucking go up like that. It's crazy.
You
Even
never
though there's
heard
like
YouTube.
yeah. Right?
Oh, she had to experience that for herself. Oh my god.
So this is how I have to do this video because it's
wait, I need to be able to clear the tears. Hold on.
You're good.
Okay, we're at a Jewish wedding.
Yes. Yep. We are at a Jewish wedding.
No!
That's fucking funny, dude. Very funny people.
I'm
They're
gonna
very
start a
funny.
stampede. 3 died.
3 died. Oh. So that was that one. I figured you would like that one.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
This one I put in just because it's
boom. Nice. No.
I have had that.
Wait, why is the arrow pointed at her now? She got hit. Oh, it just didn't move when it was pointing at him. I got it.
Yep.
Oh, that sucks to be her.
Sometimes it's the sound that makes things the most funny, right? Hey, wake up, Mark.
Dude, if you came to, wait a minute. If you came to after passing out, and you were suspended
you would be
in air attached to some dude, that would be my reaction too.
Dude, yeah, it's just the scream is what makes it the funniest.
Holy moly! Oh my god, that's great.
Hilarious. This another good one.
That's his antenna. He's gonna cook it. He's gonna crack it. He's gonna try to cook it on the hood. No. Congratulations. You played yourself.
Yep.
Where's the soundboard with that? Nice.
I know. I need to put it in there.
You have it.
And then falls into the fucking ice.
That's
thought that
another
was a good-
congratulations. You played yourself.
Played yourself. Yep. Which one is this one?
Wild West.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know how to lasso something?
I do.
You ever?
I don't know how. I know of it.
Okay. I was taught at one point, but what you don't do is this. Wow! Do.
Stand in front of the cow. A
Budo. But it's not even that's a regular cow. That's not a bull. That's just a cow.
That's a cow that was threatened and decided he was gonna beat the shit out of that dude. That's what he.
Yep. That guy will be okay, but he definitely got the wind knocked out of him.
Oh, that hurt. Yeah.
And it's about the same as this.
Is that a bale of hay? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's rolling. Ah! He's okay. He's gonna have some neck pain tomorrow, but he'll be all right.
He'll be all right. He got how many flips did he get there? Like one
and a half.
just one. He almost landed back on his feet.
Almost.
You know. So,
what
you ever seen Rally?
Oh.
No.
I think I'll just stand behind that wall.
Yeah. Got a great shot though. Look, he goes for it. I could get a good shot.
Lost his legs.
He pulls up and fucking like I can get that.
Like talk about nonchalant. I think I'll save my legs today.
Is ridiculous. Like, all right. So we just saw one near miss, right?
No. That was not a near miss. That was a near hit.
No. He crumpled that whole car too. Like he's okay though. He's
what was the plan? Good question. I don't know.
So this is actual Rally, right? So
okay.
About here.
Near miss.
Right. That was Rally back in the day. Yep.
70. Правый 2 чуть длинный. Правый 2 чуть длинный.
So you're
70
flat out.
вниз 200. Трамплин сюда. Трамплин по левой 200. Езжай, не тормози.
Going 60, 80. Oh shit, there's
people. Oh god, people.
Я говорил, трамплин надо тошнить.
Exactly. Сука.
Поздравляю с крышей! Слушай, ну крыша мягкая. Я говорил, трамплин тошнить надо, ёбаный рот.
But yeah, it's just the fucking, the immediate panic of like, oh shit, people.
Oh shit, people. What? I've lost control. Oh wait, there's more.
Like,
wait, I want to see that.
That's how close that was. Like,
anybody?
No, it didn't hit anybody.
Wow.
It hit everybody.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Shout out to that driver who fucking kept it on. Like, he caught air off that and was like, I can't stop where this car is going. You know, like, we're in the air.
But everybody, don't miss the Daytona 500 next Sunday.
Right?
Wow.
But yeah, that's all I had for boats today.
Nice.
So,
and I hit the transition Luma wipe so we don't have to hear Jimmy again. All right.
Nice.
So Eric with the key comment, kids are flexible.
Kids are flexible.
They are.
The one at the beginning, you thought that was fucking.
Oh my god. Kids are assholes. That's all I'll say.
I wasn't sure if it was gonna be that one or the one where the kid slams his noggin into the like edge of the bar top.
Oh, that just hurt. That just hurt. It really did.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we got this week? Reefer After Dark.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm gonna have on this week. I haven't figured that out yet. But
mystery guest.
We'll figure stuff out.
I like
mystery guest.
Mystery guest.
Find me on Twitter. All that. At Reef Breland. Should be in the description somewhere.
It's
Find the
in your
link tree.
doodly doos and Substacks and everywhere else for sure. What are we doing this week? I think we're gonna try to get an Indie News Network call, but that's going to be, we're not going to stream that necessarily. We are going to figure out when our next stream is going to be and what it's going to be about. I am helping Savage Joy and Ricky Rance along with Vegan Succubus. Shout out to Vegan Succubus if she's in the chat. They are doing an online virtual March for Medicare for All, a 2-day event, March 11th through the 13th. That's a weekend event. Excited to help out with that. I didn't know if Reef, I know you're working with Sabby, and I know that Lucy and I believe Tara Reid will be speaking at Sabby's event next weekend, and that is a women's summit, correct? And
yeah, it's over Saturday
and then also on the 8th of March, there is the International Women's Day protest that is happening in Washington, D.C. that Sharif is organizing. So there's a lot happening on the activist front. There's a lot happening on the INN front. There is a lot happening on the indie left front. And we're working on who our next guest for Friends of Indie Left is. But of course, go to independentleft.news and you'll be able to watch the Afeni chat embedded. Look for all the clips on the Rumble channel. Share those around when you see them. I've been putting them up on Sundays only, kind of teasing out that, hey, we're going to go live on Sunday night. So every couple hours on Sunday, you'll see a new clip from last week, just kind of reminding you, hey, here's the stuff we talked about. And everyone seems to like those clips quite a bit, and I enjoy making them. So yes, Eric is right. The Sabby Summit is in 2 weeks on the 26th. That's right.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I don't know about next weekend, but we were working on finding a substitute for Mr. Reef. So we can talk to some people about that. But again, thank you everybody. This was a really long one, 3 hours. This might be our record for the longest show, and there's only a few people that stuck with us, and appreciate everybody who did. Check out, listen for the clips, the podcast, and follow this guy. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. co-fee/Reef Breland, co-fee/IND Left News if you want to hook us up with some cash, a couple bucks. And Valerie, everyone, all the ladies, happy Valentine's Day. Again, to my wife, happy Valentine's Day. Love you, baby. Couldn't do this without your help.
Yeah.
And have a great night, everybody. And we will see you next week for another all new How Did We Miss That? Have a great night. Bye, everybody.
Listen to what little